Well, I'm hoping that the way I'm going to approach this at the start will mean everybody's memorable enough they will remember.
I mean, I think I'm pretty bad with names, but just me.
If we change our names on Roll20, it's easier to remember other people's characters' names. I find
That's
anyway.
Mine's mostly the same.
Two.
What is it?
Jogon, Jaken. Yeah, kind of the same.
I never would have guessed.
Never. Not a million years. That's how a Veal Spy does it.
So,
Is that why James Bond tells everyone his name?
Why is
Bond.
this
James
fucking
Bond.
image not saved the fucking perspective? What the fucking delete it? Yeah, on the intro section for the session 0 video, where it has like everybody's names at the start, it says Drakan as Drakan. I know, right?
I know, right? Yeah, I did watch one of those. I saw that.
I've not put it up yet. I don't think I did it before, did I?
I pirated a version of Stellaris recently. That's what I've been playing.
Nice. How many of the did you get any of the DLCs or whatever with it?
All of them. Got all the DLCs when I pirated.
There are way too many DLCs for it now.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not buying all those. I'm just gonna pirate this game.
Yeah, like I mean, it's great. It's buying a $60 game, but then all the DLCs it's like $240 now or something.
Yeah, it was like 247 or something like that when I looked at it on Steam. I was like, no, I'm just gonna go pirate this.
Yeah, it's a Paradox game. Like,
Yeah.
that's why I've said this many times, but that's why I didn't like Stellaris compared to other 4X space games like Sins of Solar Empire or Galactic Civilizations 3. Because they just took that same game, chopped it up into a million DLCs, sold you the base game, which was like nothing. So you have to fucking spend tons and tons of money just getting up to a base game again.
I haven't played any of the other ones you mentioned.
Sins is real time, it's not turn based, but Galactic Civ, the second one which I played 15 years ago, maybe something like that, that was a great game. I think they've got the fourth one out now, and they've now copied Paradox's way of doing it, so the fourth one is all chopped up into DLCs.
Yeah. Well, I know I love the Crusader King 2 and 3, and I'm really liking this one a lot too. Still is. So. But yeah, I wasn't paying for those DLCs. I just pirated the game. Fuck
No,
yeah.
I'm the same with those games.
You just gotta play the best strategy game and play Bloons Tower Defense.
What Tower Defense is the best strategy game?
Bloons Tower Defense 6.
No, I'm out.
I really liked Europa Universalis 4. That was a good one.
I haven't played that one either. I just got into Paradox.
Do you know how Crusader Kings is very much about the political side of it, and you have to set up the right circumstances to declare war and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Europa is much more traditional that way. It's like, I'm just going to declare war on these guys.
Oh, yeah. I kind of, when I first played Crusader Kings, I hated that. I was like, why can't I just go to war with these? I didn't know anything about the game, and I was just trying to play it. Like, why can't I declare war on these fucks? And of course, I hate tutorials, so I never did the tutorial either. I was like, I'll figure it out when I play.
Europa's still got a lot of complexity to it, but it's a lot more simple that way.
Have you tried Shadows Behind the Throne?
No.
It's another one, but you're more of like just an evil character trying to slowly spread your influence and
It's like the one that looks, it's a top-down 2D one, like Rimworld.
yeah.
Yeah,
I know
was
that's
cool.
that was a different one. What was that one called?
You're like spreading your influence and trying to corrupt people, basically.
Rune Arc. Yeah, we were like the Demon King, and you're trying to take over the world by different ways.
Something like that. You're just like influencing people. You're not directly controlling them.
No, that might be a little much of me. I kind of like killing shit.
Bear with me a second, because I have lots of notes and all my notes now are like these big massive text files. Like the text is massive, so it takes up a lot of my screen space.
My buddy's playing a
It's-
corporation as Stellarius, and I'm just playing a spiritual leader who's enslaving everybody else. That's it. That's all I want to do.
You've got to bring them to the light.
Yeah, I gotta bring them to the light. They don't want to do it voluntarily, so.
I've got to ask, Bird, is your character's name really Jam?
So I was going to call her Janmu, but I was like, I'm not going to pronounce this. So I figured nickname Jam, which, yes, the Jam.
Okay, I spent too long getting this image up. I'm not getting high
It's
resolution.
also, it's also the portrait if you mean that. Yes.
Oh yeah, I also need all your PDFs up.
Damu.
Season 6. I don't know if this is actually season 6.
So you've got the villains arc, then you've got
It was just arc
intro
because the intro one, like the funnel one at the start, I can't remember how I split that up because that was pretty continuous.
Yeah. Oh, I said the early stage in the village that, and then that arc I would put that all the way to the fight of the vampires, right in the first one.
Oh, I mean, I was beginning it from like the beginning with the funnel, and then going to vampires, and then you were hooked up with that lassie's character. I can't remember her name, but she was playing the necromancer. You
Yeah.
went down the river, and then it was down the river even further to the illusion tablet.
Islands and everything, yeah.
And then we had the one where you went through the different realms. We had the one where you were kind of starting off at a pirate place
Yep.
against the
That led
Scourge.
to the. Yep.
That was season 4, I think. And then, of course, last season was season 5.
Yep. Sounds about right.
But I've had other games in this world before that as well, so that's what I mean. I don't know if this is technically season 6.
Well, we had the peasant
I'd say
campaign.
this is like season 6 of like
Zero
the
to Hero,
second
yeah.
generation. Yeah.
There's OVAs in between.
Yeah.
I would say this is like the successor series. So it's like you had the original, which is very much like just a bunch of OVAs and stuff, and now this is a full blown canon series.
But it's like jumping to different characters each time. We've never gone back to finish the original character as part of the story.
Yeah, Tact and Jeff still have to die at some point. I mean, beat the.
So remember, Tact has to survive. He's the one that's going to live to the end.
All right, Jeff has to make a noble sacrifice to save Tact, and then Tact lives until the very end of the story.
All of Tac's fins have already been dying. Why do you want to inflict more upon him?
Well, I mean, Jeff is just such a not good guy, really, that his redemption thing has really got to be self-sacrifice, right? If you're following the tropes.
He just
It's the
he
fact that
gives
Tact
all-
has to be the guy that survives at the end, and like he's the one that writes the story.
Or Jeff becomes like some sort of immortal gold god. Golden
I don't know,
god.
Jeff.
So he sacrificed himself, but he still lives on like as an immortal golden god.
The dragons are so something or other by his sacrifice, and he ascends.
He amassed so much treasure that it just ascends with him.
But then a twist of fate, he becomes the god of charity.
No.
I guess that would be unrealistic.
I don't know. Jeff is the kind of character who I could imagine him stealing someone's wallet while he's getting stabbed by them.
You say imagine as if he's not done that.
I think I have.
I'm pretty sure that's happened.
That's
You
what I
tried
mean.
to steal someone who stabbed you.
While he's attacking me, can I like steal his thing? Like that sounds like something you've done.
He's too distracted by the stabbing.
Yes,
He
I
just
think
focused
that was literally the premise.
Like something I want to do now too.
Oh, I'm no doubt you have or will.
Maybe not like being stabbed by them, but maybe like when they're stabbing somebody else, can I steal their wallet?
Yeah.
That sounds
Oh, you
more
may
like-
have done that already, actually.
Yeah, I think I have done so. Not a wallet, but like I've stolen something that they had on them.
coin purse.
Goddamn kleptomaniac.
Yeah, we're using the term hero very loosely here.
I mean,
Well, he
like
is a hero. He's just a kleptomaniac. Just says he steal everything.
Well, I don't know. Like I did some pretty fucked up stuff apparently so far already. You know, release a demon army. I steal from everybody.
I think we've said it
Something like Inglorious Bastards.
I mean, yeah, we've got a demon who's famous for assassinating people, or infamous, and we have a 10-foot tall minotaur who crushes people with his hands.
like I think we've said it every time, but pilfering stuff from people's houses is just what heroes do.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Skyrim.
I played Legend of Zelda.
I'm less stabby, more sticky fingers in my infamy.
I seem to recall you being in a tree throwing shurikens at someone before.
Yes. I didn't say it didn't happen. I just said I'm more known for sticky fingers than
I didn't say it
assassinating.
didn't happen. Therefore, I'm not a liar.
I do believe my kleptomaniac, unleashed a demon on me. So
So that means we need to have a game where Dragon and Jeff are in the same party.
Oh God.
They just-
It'll be never-ending theft.
They just roll through a town, and then a day later, everyone realizes everything's gone.
well, I kind of did that when we were playing with Ricardo. Like, oh, there's a whole section over here. I was like, can I just go upstairs and like take some of the stuff?
Right, so would they not steal from each other? Is the honour among thieves?
Until one of them
Oh no,
falls
that's the
asleep.
end game.
Until one of them falls asleep. Yeah.
They would be
Two
constantly
of them just
stealing
they
from each
sleep.
other until
Yeah, they sleep across the room, each staring at each other, just waiting till one falls asleep.
Yeah, it's like the ending of The Thing, except with theft.
no, neither of them knows the other is a thief. They just keep stealing from each other without actually catching the other one. So it's
Well, that's how it would start, but it would end them being the ending of the thing, where they're just staring at each other, knowing the other's
Well,
going to steal them as soon as.
The problem with that is I steal because I want shinies. So like if my shinies disappear, I'm gonna know immediately. Like who's taking my shit?
And that's when the stabby starts.
Yeah, because I don't sell anything I steal. Like I just steal it because I want it.
Oh, that's the
Generational wealth.
problem. 'Cause,
Yeah, so it's like I don't sell any of it. I just keep it all like trophies.
yeah, because Jeff sacrifices all his shinies in a magic fire.
Well, the one time he had tons of gold, he turned it into like a golden shell for a dragon to inhabit,
Jesus.
And
which
then
is
that
still
dragon-
flying around, and I have a note of, so that's got to crop up at some point.
Oh yeah.
I've actually got a few dragons from these campaigns that have never been resolved. The evil one,
It's
they
going to be a
woke up,
campaign that's just.
the evil campaign, they woke up a dragon on a flying island. The original campaign with the barbarian, and that's he woke up, or he freed a dragon that had been cursed to be like crystal, and it flew off north to its cave.
There's going to be a campaign where just dragon hunting.
And the rate, well, probably the next one we tacked on that, because they're going to see a woman who's got 2 dragons, who has 2 tablets. So yeah, that's probably going to be the big dragon one, I guess.
Yeah, I want no part of dragons. You guys can have the heavy dragon. I want no part of it.
You can't have fantasy without dragons in it. You're from the Black Dragon clan. Come on.
And dragons have all the shiny stuff. Why would you not want a part of that?
Well, yeah, but I'm not gonna go dragon hunting. That's not a thing. If I'm even a part of the party, it's because I'm gonna steal the horde while you guys fight the dragon.
He doesn't want to compete with something so big for shinies.
I don't want to fight it for damn sure. I will try and steal it, shinies, but I'm not trying to fight it.
What if we give you a bag of holding? But it's not a bag of holding. It's just a bag with a hole that goes to someone else's hoard in it.
No, why would I ever use that?
Because you don't know.
Well, yeah, I would, because I had to check every night. I had to check my bag of holding for my shinies.
Would jump inside there and walk around to make sure it's in place.
But yeah, it makes everything in place. Like makes sure no one's stealing from my bag of holding.
Right. I think I've got everything here now.
Because my perspective of humans is so skewed, they can't know I have a bag of holding and not want to come over here and see what the fuck I have. Like, I would want to see what I had. So, obviously, you guys are the same.
Right, okay. So, I'm thinking we're going to start this story months ago. Before the last campaign, before Drakan even thought about sailing north to a different continent. And we're back at a place called the Cube, which is this massive ancient coliseum that has been built on top of by these mercenary companies which run the slave trade in the continent. And it's called the Cube because surrounding the coliseum walls are just stacks and stacks and stacks of cages filled with living beings. And these cages stacked up to create these giant walls, which gives the cube its shape on the horizon, which gives it its name. Now, at one point, we did have a party of heroes, pseudo-heroes, travelling through here. There was Griselda the Witch, Drakan the Ninja, O'Shandy the Pirate Werewolf, and a halfling whose name I forget.
And Master Fee.
But joining that party was a young boy called Master Fee, who had set out after his village had been pillaged, ransacked, destroyed, burnt to the ground. And he had taken upon like a quest of destiny, or so he thought at the time. But now he's found himself separated from that party, captured by these mighty, overpowering soldier footmen of the Golden Boys mercenary company. And they have thrown him into the Colosseum arena for their own amusement and pitted him endlessly against opponents on fights to the death. And when they're not throwing him against people, they're throwing him against tigers and lions and these wild, vicious animals. Sophie, you were saying before that you wouldn't fight these people in this circumstance?
Yes, I would never take a life of another slave that is forced to fight here. I would only fight the one who is willingly entering the arena for money. That kind of person I would see as not honorable, not a victim. He is here for the money, so I would fight him. But somebody who is forced to fight, no.
Sure. So in several of these battles where it is volunteer pitch fighters from the mercenary companies out to prove themselves, you've proven yourself a warrior of great skill and strength and dexterity. And this is why they keep throwing you in the ring, trying to get a performance out of you. But increasingly so, this is other poor souls like yourself that have been dragged in here against their will, or creatures that have been forced in here against their will and pitted them against you. And being the fight to the death, time and time again, the opponent is you've just stood there trying to be ethical, commendable and honourable about it. And they've laid into you and you've been stabbed and punched and broken, beaten and bruised and bloody. But somehow your natural tenacity, or perhaps the power of the chi inside you, has kept you from the brink of death. And after one of these many, many times, because this goes on for weeks and weeks, you're dragged out of the arena and taken down into the lower depths where the gladiators are kept. You're drifting in and out of consciousness. Your body is, aching all over. You can feel the blood in your mouth coming from your gums and the missing teeth. And the would-be sort of physician there gives you a look over and listens to your chest and shakes his head and snaps his fingers. And two of the guards drag you away across the dirt and sand into another section of the underground part of the arena. Here you lie, and you don't know how long you're left there for. Days, weeks, months. It just seems to drag on for an eternity. Your body is occasionally doused in cold water. You're given meagre scraps of food to keep you going as sustenance, but they're expecting you to die, and they just leave you here with your thoughts to yourself night and day as you can hear the death and violence going on above. Eventually they come back around and you're given another evaluation, but your body is so broken and bruised, and your refusal to put up a fight against most of your opponents means that you can hear them talking, and within themselves they decide to sell you on to whichever traders will take you. And you are collected by this large Minotaur character. So Alex, what does Razzluro? I can't even pronounce that.
I kind of like the first way you said it more.
Razzluro.
Yeah.
So yes, you are ordered by your superiors to come down into the Colosseum to collect some of these slaves that have been sold to your company. You go down there like you've done many times before, and most humans just kind of bow their heads and get out of your way as you stride into the infirmary, as it's called. And it's basically just a waiting room for people to die. But on one of the beds is this poor, broken, dehydrated, half-starved boy who is just barely alive. And this is one of the subjects you are to collect.
Who's... I don't think he's gonna survive. Well, let's throw him in with the others. He just picks him up with one hand and throws him over his shoulder.
Sure. And the second one you're supposed to collect, when you go to pick him up, he is actually already dead.
Do we get a refund on this one?
The surgeon comes over and opens up the young man's mouth and checks his teeth and then says, "You can have him." He's not any worth to us. We're not going to give you any money back for him. So you take this young man over your shoulder and leave the corpse behind. Or perhaps drag it to the front door and leave it for the rats.
I'll take it with me. Who knows when we might need some bait. It's a dangerous land. We might need to throw it to the scarabs.
You just gonna cave on a dead body?
Yeah, I've got a cart, don't I?
Oh, well,
What?
more than a cart, there's a whole trade caravan that you'll be a part of. And you are one of many Golden Boy mercenaries that are part of this, although you're the only Minotaur. So they have a series of large desert sort of livestock that they use for dragging these large carts and caravans along. Big hairy creatures with large tusks. Not unlike bovine cattle, but they're a little different. They're a little more like something from Star Wars. With big slimy tongues, no doubt. There's a few goblins that are part of this procession. Their little fingers and hands make them really useful for getting in amongst things. And they're easy to boss around, so the mercenary companies like to make use of them. But most of the caravan is made up of humans. And they all just kind of know better than to get in your way, apart from occasionally where they have to give you an order or call for your help in something.
As I get to the caravan, I'll just toss the dead body to one of the random people around me and bring B to my carriage that I assume that I'm probably pulling.
You won't be pulling it. You're like a bodyguard kind of role. The beasts themselves will be pulling them along.
As I dump Fee in the carriage, I'm gonna just say, hopefully you survive, but we'll have to feed you to the beasts.
I just slightly open one of my eyes. Barely. It's a full red of blood. And I just pass away back to the sleep.
Yeah, you have a long journey on the road, at least a couple of months, going west. You have to pass through the Scarab Lands and the Scarab Gate, where a toll will need to be paid in slaves in order to pass through. And then you're headed to the pit, where the sorcerer Alamic has put out a large bounty for slaves, live slaves, and that is where you're due to sell your load. So, Alan, is your character called Shiki?
Yes.
So, did you decide on what your homeland is called?
No, I don't think we decided a name for it. We decided where it was, but not a name for it.
Do you have a name for it, or do I leave that for now?
We call it the Isles of the Rising Sun.
Not an obvious reference at all.
No, I just thought I'd play to the cliche there.
So always go with like Higashi and stuff like that as well. Just east.
I usually like to take words based from the culture where I'm basing the thing on, and then just like reverse them, so it sounds different enough. But yeah, okay, Lanzarote.
Oh,
Or maybe that's probably just one of the names
Epons.
it's known as.
Yeah, known by many names.
Sure. So, is that where your story begins? Are you coming directly from there, or were you like spend most of your time outside of that kingdom?
Our clan doesn't reside. The Abbey clan doesn't reside in the kingdom anymore because we're like in self-exile. There's like very few members of our clan go back to the homeland and like cycle through.
Sure. So you have like assets and lands and stuff like that there, but you don't live there personally.
Essentially, yeah, we have like a few people go back to maintain it and make sure it's not
In
been
order,
taken from
sure.
us. Yeah.
On the odd occasion where some representation is demanded. Yeah. Okay, so where is it you normally reside?
We mostly travel because we're like essentially mercenary demon hunters.
Sure.
That's the whole.
Okay, so you go where your skills are needed.
Yes.
And a couple of months ago, where would you have been situated?
Is this before or after like the goblin rise? Not the goblin, the orc army arrived.
This would be just before it manifests.
So we're probably in a peaceful time where the clan's like gathering. So I can imagine we're probably in like Omkeen or something.
Okay, so you're staying in.
We're kind of,
Okay, so you're staying in an area in the sort of mid-south of the kingdom of Onkeen. You have just been there to partake in like a banishment exorcism, whatever you want to call it, of manifestations that have appeared. There was a demonic rift near one of the mines that had been uncovered, and you were called in to deal with it. And you've been staying there courtesy of the royal house of the Omkeen. Unfortunately, the most recent ruler has just passed away, and the kingdom is abuzz with news of his son, the young heir, who is going to be taking charge of the throne and what that could mean for the kingdom going forward. We have, of course, heard of the war, the fall of the empire to the north, a great boon of trade that's created for the Omkeen and weapons and such. And, there's questions about what this means for the kingdom and what it means for the continent and the world as a whole in this time of great kind of political upheaval. It is then that word reaches your house of this sorcerer and the slaves that they've been collecting and the purpose of what that could be. And imagining with the knowledge that your house has, you can kind of guess the purpose is some sort of demonic ritual.
Yeah, I can imagine that. So they'd probably send out spirit birds to contact each other to gather their forces, gather the whole clan to get involved in this. And I'm getting all excited, being like, yes, it's like whole clans gathering together, big operation. It's going to be amazing.
Yes, this is a rare occasion that there's such a large scale conflict, such a large need for your skills, and also the chance for you to prove yourselves and the values you can offer, not just your homeland, but the other people of the other kingdoms. But I'm just
Yeah,
wondering,
we are a bunch of do-gooders.
given this situation, what causes you to end up in the Vosterlands?
As probably as the information about the possible orc army summoning thing, we get word that there's a group in the northern continent looking for the tablets, and they've started recovering some of them.
Okay, so news reaches you of Professor Totnu and the University of Necromancy in Kagenstadt
Yep.
in the Vosterlands.
Yep.
And that they have not only revealed that they hold the tablet of necromancy, which is perhaps something that you guys with your long history kind of had an idea about in the first place, but they've actually retrieved other tablets.
Yeah, we don't know specifics on all tablets, but they've retrieved other tablets.
Yes.
And so I'd assume my father, the military leader of the clan. Well, my grandfather will be the actual head
Mm-hmm. Patriarch,
of
yeah.
the clan. Yeah.
Okay, sure. So your
And then
father,
he's probably
yeah, your father calls you into his quarters. He's like, "Cheeky, my son. This is a time of great opportunity for us, a great demand for our skills, a time when the world needs us to call it back from the brink. But unfortunately, I have another mission for you. You're not going to join us on our mission west. I need you to travel north across the sea. I need you to investigate the possibility of reclaiming our heritage, our ancient duty, in holding and guarding the tablet of conjuration."
I've been training for this all my life, father. But I understand. I will quest north. I will find more information on the tablets. I will retrieve it if necessary.
He puts one hand on your shoulder and looks at you dead seriously. "I know you've often felt that I favoured your brothers over you in many of these decisions, but you are the most level-headed and thoughtful of my sons, and I could trust no one other with the seriousness of this task and what it means to our clan."
Yes, father. I will do my best.
"I know you will, because you must."
That I must.
So when you have, when your mission's completed and you've discovered what needs to be done, you can meet us west.
I shall inform you with spirit birds of my journey and every bit of information that I shall find.
And with that, preparations are made. Your caravan is packed with everything you'll need for your journey. You've got translators, advisors, you're an absolute just top to the nines, ready to go. Everything you could possibly need. And you set off on the road north to the Taquin port, where you will then sail north to the Vosterlands and then head towards Kagenstadt itself. And Drakan, who was obviously part of the Jordan, Ricardo and the others, immediately after God, what was your demon called again, Alex? I can't remember his name.
Hypnos.
Hypnos, that's it, yeah. Immediately after Hypnos is defeated and Jordan and Ricardo and all the rest of them kind of break off to go in their separate ways, what's the immediate aftermath for you from that?
I think it'd be just trying to get back south because I have a lot to reflect on, realizing all these demons are consider each other brothers and sisters and whatnot, and then all the things I saw with the gauntlet that I put on to see the future. I'm assuming with that I would have got a glimpse of I need to be back here for something.
Okay, so you feel like you have to return south because that is where the rest of your path lies.
Yeah, when I put on that gauntlet to see the future, this was like a lot of it was featured down here. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty shaken up and like no longer worried about the fact that I'm half demon.
Sure. But I mean, you're also kind of here on your own with a great distance between you and the homeland. And you are, of course, aware of the... Slowest music's doing on. You are, of course, aware of the whole rebellion thing and their duty to collect multiples of these tablets, and you've only found one of them. And when it comes to the decision between you all, Ricardo, Durdam, yourself and the others, who's going to take this tablet? Who's going to take it back to the professor in Kagenstadt? And between you decide that Drakan, since you're heading southwards anyway, perhaps, and because you're very capable with your shadow stepping and such, you should be the one charged with taking it south to the Vosterlands before you head
I think you've
south.
forgotten, John. I think you've forgotten how that campaign ended.
I am.
We gave Drakan the talisman before Hypnos had died and told him, and he ran with it. He teleported away.
Yeah, okay, so that's what he's doing. He's teleporting away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like he didn't even see the end of the fight with Hypnos. He got away with the tablet.
Yeah, so you've made off with the tablet. And, part of that is to take it to where it needs to go, to make sure it's properly, safely looked after. And of course you had the spirit of the Elven Princess, who is manifesting from the shadows as well. And she's going to appear to you and advise you that that's where it needs to go. She can't take it herself, but you can physically transport it for her.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, and it will take you several weeks, even with your abilities, to make the journey down to Kagenstadt. And you're about halfway there or so when you're staying over... God, what's this town called?
I don't remember. There were so many towns.
Grossenraschen, that's the one. So you're like firmly in the Vosterlands in this town of Grossenraschen, which sits on the edge of a massive forest to its south. And
perfect. That's exactly where I want to be.
the place, it's been trodden through by armies for Ibitsu, armies for the rebellion. There's a battle that took place not half a mile down the road. And the town is not a huge town itself, and it's still recovering from the disruption that's going on. But by and large, people are getting by and trading and doing things that people do just to make a living. It doesn't really matter what the higher-ups are doing and who's in charge. At the ground level, people are still just trying to feed their families and such.
We all die. Doesn't matter who's in charge.
At the same point as you are making this journey, there is a dryad in the Feywild. And the Feywild of late has moved into its autumn season. The trees have lost their leaves. The winds have picked up, the temperature has dropped. And this is just the calm before the storm with winter, where everything really just goes into hibernation and dies off before the period of rebirth and regrowth in the spring. It's part of the everlasting cycle of things. But this season of fall, of autumn, hasn't ended when it should. And we're now into the second season, going into the third. The waterways are becoming tainted, some of them toxic and poison. We know that there was an intruder to this realm, and something about them, although they've been defeated, has lingered on, and a disease, a plague, has crept across the land, corrupting the creatures, the flora and the fauna alike. And this has affected this dryad. So, do you want to tell us how Jamu has been affected?
Well, I hadn't got specific ideas, but I thought fall was meant to be. It was like felling trees and fire, wasn't it?
Yes, the dry leaves and the tinder has led to great fires that kind of swept across the land and also caused devastation, yes.
Yeah, so I was thinking like as a dryad, she had parts of her body covered in bark. That was just a natural appearance, but this disease, it makes it appear as if the bark is like flaking off, like what's the word? Like embers. So
So it's almost as if you're kind of like burnt charred yourself.
yeah, it's as if it's reflecting the state of the Feywild.
Sure.
So
And imagine being a dryad, the forest is one and alike with yourself and your life force. So it feels when it's burnt, you're feeling as well.
yeah, and it could just be like the stagnation from the seasons repeating, like you mentioned. Like things, if they don't have that chance to be reborn, they stagnate and rot. So it could be that I rot instead of burning, but it takes on that appearance.
Sure, yeah, it's a metaphysical representation of what it's going through. And your brothers and sisters, the other dryads and spirits that reside here, this is supposed to be the peaceful, everlasting afterlife. But you're finding now that with this kind of wave of death and destruction and corruption, of these multitude of factors that are kind of coming ahead at the same time, that the power of the Feywild for the first time in existence is waning, and there are sort of breaks in the fabric of it at points, and you're even seeing creatures from other realms and domains cross over and devour and plunder it for its resources. The most obvious one for this is like demons popping through and rifts that are opening up and having to be fought away by the residents of the Feywild. There's a very real sense, between you and the other dryads that, this is something that threatens the very existence of the domain of the afterlife that you inhabit. So what are you going to do?
So my thought was that, well, obviously, in the Feywild, they're not just sitting around doing nothing about it. But if Sundara is still active, then I think it would be in a bit much chaos, especially with these demons invading, that they might think that the outside world, the material plane, is safer at the moment. And so this dryad will escape through one of the portals that have been opened into the material plane.
So when you, and probably some other dryads, see the opportunity to flee this chaos, this danger, and back into material realm, where you presumably once inhabited, you take the opportunity, and you run or escape through one of these portals.
Yeah, and so my thought was that that she would arrive in the eastern country, whatever we're calling it, pseudo Japan. I thought that'd be a good way to tie it to the party, but
Well, I mean, perhaps that's where as a spirit you originated from, the material realm, and this is where you are seeking to pass through. The portal, of course, is like, I imagine it's just constantly sort of fading between different scenes, locations in the material realm, and you're trying to time your jump, your leap, or whatever, so that you enter somewhere where you at least have a passing familiarity. So your brothers and sisters leap through one by one in front of you, just taking their chances, and you hold for a few moments trying to time it somewhere that looks familiar, where the vegetation looks similar. And there's a great kind of roar and a upwind of a gust of wind, and you can feel like the heat of the flames of fire kind of like beating behind you. You can hear like the screams of the forest and the dying of the trees around you, and you just leap and just hope for the best. Drakat and you have just like shadow stepped out from a tree as you make your way through past the forest in this town, and all of a sudden this log that looks as if it's like a charred log that's been on fire, just like falls from the tree in front of you and lands in the ground.
I guess I'll like look up. That'd be my first like, what's up there?
I mean, the trees around you don't look as if they're on fire. There's no broken branches or anything, and this is almost like the trunk of a small tree that's like fallen out.
Yeah, I think I would immediately saddle step again to safety, like away from that, just not far, but like away from the log's general vicinity.
Yes, you shadow step to clear distance and get
And
a
I'm just
view.
gonna observe.
Yeah, a view from some space away to try and see what's happening. Janu, you find yourself on some cold, hard ground, but the grass is soft and fresh.
And would there be like an impediment to its taking on human form again in the material realm, or is that?
That depends on your abilities work. I mean, that's kind of on you.
Yeah, for some reason I thought they could just take human form, but turning into a log with them its violence.
Yeah, I mean, your senses are filled with the smells and the sensation of the ground, the dampness. You can feel the warmth with the sun in the sky in the back of your head. And it feels very different to in the Feywild, where it's a lot more ethereal. But this one, it's far more tangible. You know what I mean? There's a sensation of realness, of touch to it, of presence. And that's how you know right away that you're no longer in the Feywild and you are in the material realm.
I think it'd be a bit of a relief, though it might not be in as much of a hurry after getting through the portal, but would take on human form immediately after that.
Sure. Yeah, so once you realise where you are, that you've made it through, you take a deep breath. And what is it happens when you take human form? Is it just like a blink and it happens, or?
I kind of like the image of like green light is gathering from the ground for the magic of like dryads, at least this particular dryad. So like the form of the log being like wrapped in that green light, and then kind of taking the silhouette of a human before it fills in, you know.
So from your view, Drac, across the pathway and along again under the shadow of one of the larger trees, the log is kind of surrounded by slow-moving green lights that emerge from the ground, and slowly the silhouette, the outline, the shape of this tree log sort of like sheds itself and contracts and takes the shape of. Are you taking the human form of a woman? Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
it's
so-
like an elven woman covered in bark, basically.
Sure. So it solidifies and takes the form of like a light, thin elvish woman. But it still has this kind of like emberish, fiery glow at the tinges of the, I guess, around the sort of scales of your skin.
Not the weirdest thing I've seen.
A barky.
And I was I'm going to guess that Dakan is, or Dakin is too well hidden for her to notice. So I think she'll probably just look around for the nearest source of civilization.
Sure, and I guess you're always looking around to see if anyone else has made it through with you. But there's no sign of a portal around you, and there's definitely no sign of another dryad that's came through with you. So it looks as if you've came through here on your own.
Would I know what he is or she is? Just judging by what happened.
I guess that's up to your character's experience with forest spirits.
Well, I am half elven, so I don't know if that plays into it any. But then, like, I did talk to the Fae. I went to the Fae world for a few times with my shadow steps. So I didn't know if that would.
Yeah, so I mean, you
into it.
might be able to guess just from what you saw happen that this is some kind of fey creature, at least.
Okay, so at least I know that much. Yeah, I think I'll just observe from a distance because, like, I got precious cargo. I'm not just gonna be throwing myself into people's situations without making sure no one's chasing them or whatever. Because I'm paranoid like that.
Of course. So you're just going to tail this
I'm gonna,
creature for a while
yeah, I'm
and
gonna,
see where it goes
yeah,
and what happens.
I'm just gonna stalk them because that's what I am.
Sure. I mean, I think with Jamu, she doesn't have any idea where she is really, so she's just picking a direction on this path and following it. I mean, it's a path of road; it's going to take you somewhere, right? But she heads off in the direction that you're already walking in, which is a long road before it comes to any other sort of like town or village. So effectively, you're going to be going in the same direction anyway for a time.
Gotcha. My travel speed's just cut down because I can no longer saddle step for travel
Greatly so.
like I was.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Something to consider then before I follow her for too long.
I'm just trying to think when you would actually strike up a conversation with each other. Then.
Oh, it'd just be like 30 minutes when I see no one else is like.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, she's going to walk for easily half a day before you're like, okay, this person is just going the way I'm going anyway.
Yeah, no one's chasing it, like, because she disappeared out of nowhere and then turned into a human. Like, I don't know what the fuck that's about.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it becomes apparent that she's on her own here and potentially doesn't know where she's going.
I have a quick question for you, Drac. First,
Yeah.
does this make you paranoid that other people are just trees in disguise?
I didn't think about it, but I'll probably be. Yeah, I think I would spend the night thinking about that. Like, how many people have I passed that just been trees, or the vice versa? How many trees have I passed that just been people?
You stop talking to yourself in the forest from then on.
Yeah, now trees have ears now. Fuck. I think I would just like maybe she went like off the path to go a different direction, and like the conversation would be like, "Hey, you need to go that way." Just complete creeper style.
You did say that demons had just been attacking the Feywild, right?
Yes.
Well, the only thing that reveals that I'm a demon to you would be my hand. So like but I'm not covering it up. But
So-
otherwise, the rest of me is covered up.
Yeah, I mean, as well, I would think that being a creature of the Fae and with Drac being half elvish, you would pick up on the half elvish energy more than anything else.
Right, so wouldn't pick up on the demon part, or wouldn't be as obvious.
I don't think it'd be as obvious because he has it hidden as well, and he's also carrying this really powerful magical tablet. And I think the presence of that, if you have any kind of way of detecting magic, is going to override anything else that's around it.
I think also the fact that he's kind of like, I don't know if you'd call it a plane walker, but he shadow steps. He probably has a different kind of magical sense on him.
Sure, yes, definitely. He would have
It
all the
might be
shadow
like-
realm, yeah.
Where is he from, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean,
So
he's
I-
definitely going to be a mysterious creature, yeah.
Yeah, and the forest is my favorite thing because there's shadows everywhere.
So I think if you're giving her direction, she'd just be like, "Oh, are you from the Wildlands as well?"
No. I'm from a land here on this continent. I was just headed home. But you need to go that way, not this way.
Do you mind if I follow you?
Sure.
And she's like looking at your weapons because she's completely unarmed and unclothed.
You wouldn't see any of my weapons.
It was I'm not getting your weapons. So.
No, I use Ninja Stars, so you wouldn't see any of my weapons.
Right. I thought you had like knives or some reason, but yes, okay.
I guess I would give you like a cloak or something if you're completely naked, because that would just be awkward for too long.
I mean, the bark is a bit like clothing, I guess, but yes.
I mean, I know you're in human form. I was thinking you had maybe like a slight sort of bark skin covering or something.
Yeah, like when I say covered in bark, I mean like the majority of her body, like aside from like neck up, like her hands and stuff.
Sir, you're covered in bark, still not clothing.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
But I do think, Drac, I mean, based on everything you've experienced as well, that sort of tinge of burning that she has on her, I think like something about the scent or the magical presence of it would definitely feel demonic to you, and I think you would recognize that.
Well, I know no one's following her, but now. So I guess the conversation would, after we walk for a little bit in silence, I would ask you about the burns. Like, is that normal for you, or?
No, it's something has happened to the Feywild. We've tried to cure it, but have you encountered something like it before?
Something like that.
But where? Can you tell me more about it?
What, counter the burning or the Feywild?
The burning.
To the west of here was a big spawning of orc demons, something like that occurred there.
She looks around. Are we going west now?
You're going kind of southwest to Kagenstadt, yeah.
We're not not quite. No, way west. Many months of travel.
And I think she looks both like relieved and like disappointed. It's the lead's too far away to follow. Well, I'll get to safety first, and then I can try and find out what happened there.
Are we headed west now? That would have made my day.
So to kind of skip this along, is it safe to say, you know, you're going to travel together, talk more, and at some point, at least Jamu decides to kind of like accompany Draken, at least as far as Kagenstadt?
I think that just hearing that would be enough for Jamie to follow him. Although, if he wanted, that would probably be easy enough.
No, I got a little puppy. That's fine. Just tag along.
Like, the first person she meets happens to know about like something that she's afflicted with. So it's like, yeah, let's stick together for a bit.
My lucky day.
I mean, for Drac, I mean, it's another person to put between you and danger.
Exactly. Someone who's not as fast as me. I was totally not thinking that.
Flick back to the southern continent here. Okay, so Razzaluro, you and Master Fee in this slave caravan have been heading west for probably a week, 2 weeks now. And you are approaching the end of the mountain range known as the Scarablands. And here there is a massive kind of cliff wall known as the Scarab Gate. Normally here the scarabs, these large insectoid creatures, demand a tax to be paid to allow traders to pass, and it's not, they always want the tax in human beings, living beings, to put to work in their mines. But as you approach the Scarab Gate this time, there are just bodies. Usually there's guards that notice you like a mile away, but there are just like the deceased bodies, the charred corpses of scarabs. And as you kind of like approach the Scarab Gate and pass through it, the gate itself has been like charred and burnt from some sort of scorched fire. The bodies are roasted. The slaves are all dead and melted and burned. And it becomes readily apparent soon enough why this has happened. An encampment just maybe a mile down the road on the other side of the gate is just this huge mass of tents and fires. You can see these massive burly creatures covered in jet black fur with glowing green eyes and these almost kind of boar-like snouts are like hacking away at the forest collecting boulders and stones and forging these great war machines. Your scouts return and say, this massive encampment is here. There are tens of thousands of these creatures, formidable, fearsome looking, with all kinds of weaponry and war machines being assembled. They've clearly attacked and defeated the scarabs, which is something no one's ever done before. And it looks like they're amassing, for an army before they head further east. We cannot continue on the path on the road that we'd be going currently. And the leaders of your caravan, the humans of the company, sit down and try to plan about what is the next step here. But as the lone minotaur in this caravan, what are your thoughts?
We should challenge the greatest warrior to earn passage through their camp.
And the humans and goblins are look at you with a side eye, as if you've just said the dumbest thing ever. There's no way in hell any of these people are going to offer themselves up against one of these massive beasts.
I'm gonna pick the nearest person who's giving me a strange look and say, "Why are you looking at me like that?"
I just marveling at your wisdom.
Of course. I just nod sagely and roughly drop them back on the ground.
From your vantage at the back of the caravan when the cages fee, you can see some of the goblins, some of the humans quietly unhooking their caravan or their trailer or wagon from the caravan and making their way off to the north, while the others are all distracted.
In a sense, they are fleeing the caravan.
Yeah, they're taking what they can and sneaking away.
With the alive slaves.
With the slaves that they have, yes. The majority of the caravan is still there as they are up front discussing what they should be doing.
Well, that definitely piques my interest, because why suddenly is somebody doing that? So I start looking around. What else do I see? And then I see the rest of the caravan leaders discussing something. And of course, I see smoke happening in the distance.
Sure. One of the other slaves in a different cage to you notices that you've gotten up and you're looking around, and he just says to you, "There's trouble ahead. They wouldn't have stopped us otherwise. You saw what they did to the bodies and that of the scarabs."
What do you think? What is it?
I don't know what did it, but I just hope that they don't decide to leave us here while they escape.
Yes. Well, we will see in time.
At that point, Razaluro, the humans and the goblins, they're just talking in circles, and you get the feeling like it's just boring you. They're not going to put up a fight anyway, so you just make your way back to your own wagon of the caravan at the end that has Master Fee in it.
Foul cowards. I'll just unhook my carriage and start leading the bull straight towards the camp.
Okay, so you're just going to take your carriage and you just go straight into the orc camp to challenge the leader.
I'm gonna challenge someone there for passage.
Okay, so Fee, you're there, and the other guys in the cage, and you're in the same wagon, and you're the minotaur that you've come to identify as Razaluro. Comes trumping back on his own, unhooks your caravan, or your wagon, sorry, and you think, oh, you look at each other with a little bit of hope, like, oh, maybe we're sneaking away too. And then he kind of picks it up himself and starts dragging you down the hill towards this massive army that is encamped. You can see the smoke billowing up from their great fires. You can hear the clanging of armor and weapons, and you can see war machines getting made and such. and these massive, hulking, monstrous beasts everywhere.
This is the first time I would speak out loud to Raz, and I would probably shout, "Hey Minotaur, hey."
What is it, Runt?
Are you planning to leave us over there in this encampment? Is that our destination?
No. They're just blocking the way. I was paid to deliver you all somewhere, and that's what I'm going to do.
And your plan is to walk by that camp that probably just killed off all of the scarabs. That is your plan?
Arabs are weak. They make a satisfying crunch under my axe. These creatures won't be any different.
So what is your plan exactly, if I might ask?
Plan? I'm going to go up, and I'm going to roar as loud as I can, and then I'm going to fight whoever comes out.
The other slave and the other captee in the cage rattles the bars with a stick. He's like, "You're going to get us all killed, you blithering cow."
He's brave in the face of that.
That just sparks up something in him that... What did you call me? And he just pushes his arm straight through the cage, just ripping the bars out of the way, and just grabs the person and yanks them out.
The guy's just kind of really scrawny and weak, you know what I mean? And he's wiry. He's just sort of dangling in your grasp a few feet above the ground. If you're going to kill me and get it over with, but don't bring me down there for us all to be tortured to death.
Grintuk, where are you?
From beneath some sacks and stuff that's in the back of the wagon, they kind of move aside and this little goblin head just pops up. What? Who?
I'm gonna pick him up and point him at the orc encampment. Just, what do we do?
Jeez, there's a lot of them. Kind of weighs up for a moment because he's clearly thinking, is this my way to break free? Is this finally how we kill the Minotaur? But he decides internally, no, I want the glory of the kill. I can't have these people stealing it from me. I've worked too hard for too long to bring him down, and besides, my news potion is nearly ready. Oh, it would be suicidal to confront this army. Look how many of them there are. And you know what these other races are like, Minotaur. They would surely cheat you in combat and overwhelm you with their numbers, instead of fighting you fairly one-on-one.
That is true. Most of these other races are quite cowardly.
Exactly, and so feeble and devious. They're not deserving of you in close combat. No, we should make our escape now before anyone notices us. And then we can make camp and I can make you a nice meal. He says, kind of rubbing rubbing a little bottle in his pocket.
Sounds like an excellent idea. So how will we get around them without them seeing us?
Kind of points
So
to
that
the foothills in the forest that lies beyond to the north. Because we simply go around them, sir. There must be a pathway.
Go around them. An excellent idea. I'll just put them both back in the carriage, and then just try to bend the bars back so they were closed again.
Yeah, you just like pinch them between your fingers effortlessly put them back together. The goblin hops
And
on,
then just-
and he's beside the cage that Fee's in, and Fee, you can overhear the goblin muttering to himself. It's like, yes, yes, just a little longer.
And then I just grab the carriage and just start pulling it towards where the goblin pointed.
Yes, you just continue on, and looking back, Fee, through the cages, once you reach the foothills and you have some elevation, you can just see like fire going up from where the caravan had stopped previously. And you can maybe just about make out some people being dragged away from where you were. So clearly it was a good idea to disappear when you disappeared.
I nod. I look down and I bless the way he took. And by the way, you think I would heal a little bit in those couple of weeks that I've been traveling? This was basically the first time I opened
Oh, so one thing I
and
wanted...
stood up.
Yeah, so one thing I wanted, you had a lot of pain once, didn't you? You didn't have any wounds, that's what it was. You had stress and pain. Do you want to throw maybe a wound
Yeah.
in there as well?
Hmm.
Or swap one of them out for a wound? Because the wound
Yeah,
will,
I could.
because the pain will heal by now, definitely. But the wound will and the stress will take longer.
Yeah. So I could have, let's say, a pierced wounds. Let's say a pierced from the spear, something like that,
Yeah,
or
sure.
or a saber tiger biting off a chunk of my shoulder,
Or why not both?
creating.
Yeah, you got a big scar
Why
across your
not both?
chest from the claws. You got a bite mark where it bit into you, and then you've got this wound just inside of your lower ribs where a spear penetrated. It just somehow missed all your vital organs.
Yeah, survived just by a pure chance, and that takes a long time to heal, right?
Yes, that will take longer, but all the pain ones, they'll be gone by now because you've had time to kind of recover from your last beating.
So a wound and a stress.
Yes, and from now on, the rest of your journey is going to be Fee, the other captive, this goblin, and your Minotaur captor, I guess, who's kind of just silently dragging you along for weeks on end. That night, you do make camp in the foothills. The goblin does prepare a meal, stewed rabbit, and Fee, you and the other captor watch him as he's preparing it, and the Minotaur's not paying too much attention, and he pulls out a little green vial and he pours it into the stew and mixes it, and he's like, you can see he's like trying not to laugh as he's stirring it in. And as he passes the bowl to Raz to drink up.
It grabs it without hesitation and just drinks the entire thing at once.
The little goblin,
Well-
he has his hands cupped together and this big grin on his face, and he's like rubbing his knuckles, watching him slurp it down.
I
After a
realized.
few seconds.
You already
After you-
drank it. Yeah.
On you go, Fee.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I was thinking if I would react, shout stop, don't drink it, or something like that. But I'm thinking, this could be an opportunity to just escape if you die, And
Sure.
so
Yeah.
I would probably stay quiet.
Yeah, you think I should tell him something, but then you exchange glances with the other prisoner, and he shakes his head a little bit, and you both just silently wait and watch. Raz, you glop it, slurp it down, and it is really delicious. He's got a really nice sort of sour tinge to the flavour of this rabbit. It's the best you've tasted in a while.
After a few seconds, you just see like green starting to go up his veins, but then almost as quick as it comes, it just vanishes, and he lets out a loud burp.
That's exactly what I was going to say. A massive belch, and the smile just drops from the goblin's face, and he kicks the dirt beside him.
That was really good, Grintuk.
Yes, don't worry. I'll make another one.
Excellent. I'll wait anxiously for it.
Yes, just you wait.
He just lets out a loud laugh and says, "I will wait."
This is hilarious. Yeah.
Shiki, you've travelled in luxury to the port at the north shore of the Omkin Kingdom. When you arrive at the port, a ship has been prepared to transport you, and it's covered in all the finery that your house can afford. Because of, just the fact of where you're travelling, only a limited number of your servants can accompany you on the next leg of your journey. So you bid farewell to the translator that you've been such good friends with over the last few weeks. The food taster that checks that none of your stuff has been poisoned and it's fit for your consumption. These people, they really like you. You're a nice person to get along with, and they've been really friendly and affable to you on this journey. So who are some of the servants that you actually choose to take along with you?
Probably just take one servant with me.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to. A part of me wants to prove myself to my father. I was like, I can be very independent with this. It's like it's been so wonderful having your company. You've all been fantastic. I highly approve your job. I thank you for everything you've done. Even though my father forced you into this, was like, it's been an absolute pleasure turning with you.
We've made a great team together so far. There's like 20 people, you know what I mean? All
Yeah.
various trades and
No,
servants and stuff, and half of them are expecting to go with you, and then you're like, but I'm only taking one.
I'm only taking my good, loyal friend.
And then you look around.
Taking my good, loyal friend, Naoki.
I was thinking you're looking around and going, you. You don't even know his name.
I can at least remember people's names. I'm nice.
Sure, okay,
Nice
yeah.
pacifist.
Yeah, so the guy that you learned whose name. Been
Yeah, the
very-
one person I've learned, I memorized the name immediately. You get to come with me.
Yeah, he's been very attentive so far. And he's like, me, sir? I'm so privileged. And he throws a look at the rest of them, just kind of like, haha, I've been picked to go into bigger and better things.
Yeah, it's been such a relax. Even those 20 servants, most of them have been doing nothing. So I'm just trying to do everything myself. So it's like, this is the dream job. It's like, no, I'm sending you all away.
So they get sent away, and there's just stacks and stacks of bags and cases and trunks of belongings and supplies for you to take with you on your journey. And your one servant is kind of looking at it like, oh shit, I've got to carry all this.
Don't worry. It's like, I'll deposit this with any local family members to care for most of these goods. I'll take the minimum we need to travel.
So,
I must prove myself.
so you're like, we're traveling, like, and it goes away, and suddenly this servant is realizing, hang on, this isn't going to be that luxurious, because you're taking like a Spartan amount of stuff with you, and it's down to just kind of like one case of belongings. And the servant's like, are you sure this is all you want to take, sire?
Honestly, I could even trim a little more. That's a very good point, Naoki.
No. I mean, there are two of us, sire. So we do not know the situation on the other side of the ocean.
That is true, and we don't have any of the family connections on that side. We best keep some things in case of emergencies.
And perhaps some of the linens for sleeping.
I suppose, not having a comfy night's sleep can be detrimental to one's mental health.
One of the sailors kind of laughs as he's coming past you with some sacks over his back. He's like, ha ha ha, you won't get any sleep on this ship, sir.
I'll have you find that I can sleep anywhere.
Oh, a most boisterous crew we are, sir. Ha ha ha. And then there's the sea monsters, and he laughs and like kicks something into the water, and goes up the gangplank onto the ship.
That sounds like the most fun adventure.
The servant is like gulping at this point. He looks down the side of the ship and you can just see this big tear that's been like patched up on one side. It's like this big massive groove that's like raked down the side of it. It's is this safe, sire?
Of course it is. The ship has survived a mighty endeavour. It must have had some great adventures. I'll be very interested to hear them tell the tales.
The captain comes walking down the plank. He's got like one arm, one leg missing. It's like, oh yeah, we've had a few adventures, me and her. Although technically it's not the same ship. We've had to trade up a couple of times because of unfortunate incidents. But I'm sure we'll make it this time.
As long as you're sure we'll make it across, Captain, everything shall be going smoothly.
Well, it's a good thing I don't have it in writing.
But I do. Pull out a parchment of the deal.
Yeah, it's been signed with like an X.
An X with two scribbled that look somewhat like letters.
Then you just hear, sire, maybe we should reconsider, and all you hear is all aboard.
No time, okay. I grab over my half of the luggage to carry.
He like snatches some apples from a passing vendor as he like hurriedly runs after you. Just see if I can get you rolling here. What skill set do you think you used when you were like chartering this ship?
Yeah, I'm diplomatic. It's a quality tag.
Advantage, yeah. Do you think you were doing it like carefully, or do you think you were a little more?
I don't think anything about it.
If I was doing it, I would be I would be careful because it's like we need to make sure do this right.
Okay.
We need to get this thing.
Sure, give me a 2d6 plus 1 then. Or 3d6 plus 1, sorry. Using the two highest. This is not for you. You're going to make the journey just fine. I want to see if the servant survives.
Oh my god, the poor guy.
This is dice spot on roll 20 up.
Use it on roll 20. There's a widget on the left hand side that looks like a d20.
Just advanced controller. Six plus 1. 8.
So 6 and 5 plus 1. Okay. Because it would be advantage, so it's the 6 and the 5 plus the 1. Yes, the journey is...
Oh no, the first one was just an off click. It was the 2d6 plus 1 roll.
Yeah, but you got advantage, so you have 3d6.
Oh yeah, I forgot advantage.
So-
Yes, it's 12.
Yeah, so the journey is choppy and uneven. The crew are really loud, rowdy. They're having like rampant sex with each other every night, and there's lots of banging on the walls and such. They're very high spirited, obviously living life on the edge on the sea, you know, really fuels their adrenaline. You definitely see like things in the ocean at a distance, large creatures kind of coming up over the waves and disappearing again. Your servant is seasick for the entire week and a half that you're on the ocean waves.
What
But-
marvelous creatures those are.
Yes.
Wonder if we could see a beautiful one up close.
Oh, yes. Blah, sire. Blah. But you do eventually make it to the town of Ninlubine, which looks as if it's been repaired. Something's obviously attacked this place previously. But you arrive there and you're able to find sort of lodgings fairly easily, and your servant looks much relieved to be on steady land at long last.
Can you believe it, Naoki? We've set foot in a new continent.
Oh, it's wonderful, sire. I've never felt better. So do we take a
Last time a member of our clan has been in this continent was when my grandfather was in his youth.
Oh, how that must have been wonderful, sire. Did he make a good impression?
Well, it was the generation before him. I've not heard stories in a long time, but they were there for a quest hunting, demonic incursion of some kind.
We're not expecting a demonic incursion now, are we?
No. That it would be ridiculous that two would be happening at the same time.
All the sailors start laughing. Yeah,
There's
well,
currently one in the southern continent at the moment. It's like having one in the northern continent would be ludicrous.
yeah, yes, sire. Uh, I suppose we're taking a wagon the rest of the way, correct?
Well,
You know you're
since we have
not.
no connections up north, no
Well,
one has any.
well,
We don't have any connections here, so we'd have to find a
well,
place to purchase
you'll
wax.
know the next part of your journey is booked up the river.
All we know is we're traveling upriver. That's the next part.
Wh-
The designated journey.
More sailing.
Yes.
He
Don't
just
worry.
he
I've
just
heard canal river boats are much more stable than ocean boats.
he just like the scene cuts to he's been on the riverboat and it's like sloshing around in the waves going upriver and him just vomiting off the side of the boat.
Wow. I've just heard from the first mate that this is the stormiest this river has been in decades. Can you believe that, Naoki?
No, sire.
What a fabulous journey.
Eventually, you make it to Kagenstadt. Where you're greeted and you see the Grand University of Necromancy. You can see the scars from the war that took place, the battles that took place here. And the place is like armed to the teeth. You know what I mean? There's guards all over the place, a high military presence. This is, after all, the headquarters of the rebellion. So Drac and Jam, yous have been making your way for a while, and yous are now just like made your way into the city of Kagenstadt. Would you have snuck in, or would you have just kind of, given up your credentials as you walked into the city to get past the guards?
What are credentials?
Yeah, he doesn't have credentials. I was assuming that too.
Yeah, well, I mean, they just state your business, and you just have to identify who you are.
Nah, I think I just shadow step with her past the wall. Like, let's just go this way.
Are you able to take someone with you when you shadow step?
Oh, that's a good.
I
I
mean,
could in the last one, but I had upgraded it from levels.
What? I was wondering if you had upgraded now, or...
No, I had not upgraded it this time, so I can't do that. Yes, I guess we're going through the gate.
And you can still shadow step in.
Yeah, I don't trust you not to be like, hey, where'd that guy go when you're talking to the guards?
Oh yeah, I was just traveling. This guy said the magic tablet.
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, so we're just gonna walk together so I can keep an eye on you.
Sure, like I said, heavily fortified. They're checking everyone as they go through. And you can see them like turning away people who, not because they're inherently suspicious or anything like that, but just because they're not taking chances on who they let into their headquarters. There is like the surrounding town with inns and shops and this kind of thing, but into the sort of main walled off area of the city where the university is, they're only letting you through if you're a resident or you've got a reason to be there as a trader or something like that. So how do you want to present yourselves when you arrive?
That's a good question. What exactly, like, had Vacan been interacting with people at all in the cities, or was it just shadow stepping in, doing whatever he needed to, and then getting out?
You mean like since me and you've been traveling together, or just normal?
Like, when he was on his own, how did he approach situations like that?
I didn't talk to nobody because I had this magic tablet, so I was completely in the dark, like zero contact. If,
Right.
minimal contact, I suppose, because I did have to buy stuff or whatever. But one of these campaigns, we got something from the kingdom of Omkin or whatever. Like it was like like you're doing my official business here to help us out, kind of deal, didn't we, in that first campaign?
Yeah, we got it, I think, at one point.
Okay, so a writ from Alkeen as, let's just say it's for trade or something like that.
Well, for like it was like free passages through to his checkpoints and all that. So this might not be his kingdom, but I was like, maybe it would work because we're close enough. Right, we're headed up. Like
Was
we
it
were doing.
for Alkeen or was it for someone else? Do you remember?
It was so we could head west, through his lands, and then like I can't remember if it was.
Was
if
it
we got
on
out,
this? Was it on this continent?
Oh, the one we're on now, the
Yeah,
northern
the rough one,
continent.
yeah.
No, because we never left the
Okay,
southern continent.
yeah. So,
I feel like
so
you,
you
could
might.
probably bluff your way through.
But
Yes.
I might try to use it as like, hey, I'm
A
like
prop.
on like, yeah, like I'm on like official business or something,
Okay, so this definitely sounds like you're trying to be sneaky with it,
Yeah.
but you have a prop. So let's give you advantage because you have the prop. So 3d6 with the +2. Well, it's motion sickness really, but not really seasickness.
Oh yeah, I just mean like I'd be wondering that while vomiting off the side.
Yeah.
Anyways, 3d6 +2. There you go.
So that's going to be 11 total. Yes, you produce this writ, and there's some discussion between them about what this actually means. Is it relevant here? But although the guards are experienced, I mean, they're not that educated, right? It says you got permission from Omkeen, so at the very least, you're officially recognised by the kingdom. And therefore, why wouldn't you have business here within the walls? I imagine they frisk you down. You don't have anything on you because your stuff is expertly hidden, being the ninja that you are. And of course, Jam doesn't have anything on her at all. Like, literally. So, you're not any threat. So, sure. Yeah, they maybe give you an eye and note of, what you look like and the names that you give. But they allow you to enter into the inner sanctum. And although you are having to go through all this hassle and talk to all these people, you can see this. What does Shiki actually look like, physical appearance?
He's just like an average height, kind of maybe a little below average height. He's wearing just these like almost formal looking robes, so he looks rich as he's
Yes.
traveling, but definitely foreign as well. So it's like
Stands out a little bit.
he definitely stands out. He's very distinctive in his appearance.
Different accent, skin tone will look a little different.
Yep, his distinctive style.
Yeah,
He
so
completely stands out.
obviously looks different. His servant there is also sort of, your servant's not a translator. Your servant's struggling with like translation or just to understand the thick Postulant accent. And he's like trying to convince the guards that, look, we're nobles, we're here in official business. Don't you know who this is? This is Shikiabi. From the land of the rising sun. You must let us in. And there's a little sort of talk between them and such, and you're maybe just like standing there just waiting because you're just expecting to get in, other people to deal with it. And you can see this strange looking, but fairly kind of attractive, I guess, in an elvish way, woman standing in a burkini. And this strange shrouded figure beside her.
Hadn't Dakin given her like a coat?
Sure.
A
Okay.
cloak?
Yeah. So
I
she's
gave you like a cloak, but like it's not like it doesn't cover you up all the way.
Okay,
It
so,
just
yeah,
kind of like
you-
goes over your shoulders.
yeah. So you've got the cloak over you, and maybe just like a bare leg sticking through, which is kind of barkish looking, but yes, it's interesting looking anyway. So these characters stand beside you, and they seem to have trouble getting in with whatever, but you and your servant are waved through before them.
Before my servants wave through, I'll just walk up to them. Greetings, O blessed Dryad. I'll bow to the Dryad.
Do I know you?
Oh, no, but My family is a friend of the spirits, so seeing a dryad walk among the mortal planes, it would be disrespectful for me to not greet you.
Thank you. It's nice to meet you too. And she
I hope
just
your time in the
looks
mortal
at
realms
Dak
is
and is
pleasant
like,
for you. I'll bow and then walk back towards my servant.
Jesus Christ! The whole time I've been looking at the guards, making sure no one like overheard that.
I think.
Well, I'm speaking in the southern continent, like a
different
spirit tongue.
language. Yeah.
Yeah, the tongue of the spirits. It's like, so it just sounds like weird, like hissing or kind of thing.
Even more
To other
reason for
people.
me to be paranoid. Jesus Christ!
Exactly.
I think
Oh.
Jan was just like looking at Dak and like, are you someone important?
No, not me.
You have that bit of paper.
That's nothing. That's just something I picked up on my travels.
I see. Well, do we keep going? Will we get
Yeah,
stopped again?
So
yeah. Before we get stopped again.
as you enter the gate into the inner city, so we say, you can feel you walk through some sort of energy field. And I think the Dryad and possibly Shiki as well, you can kind of tell or see or sense that this entire area is like shrouded in very, very powerful magic.
And had Dakin been here before? I forget.
He has not been here before, no.
And do we have any sense of what the magic does?
You can give me a roll to try and determine.
Sure, I'm guessing that'd be clever, so it'd be nothing probably. Wait, is it 2d6 or is it 1d6?
It's
I don't know.
2d6 with the modifier, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's definitely a protective ward of some sort. The exact nature you might not be able to tell or might not be familiar with. But it's definitely a defensive measure of some kind.
Assuming it's not doing anything to her presently, then don't worry about it for now.
It does seem to have done something to Drakan's aura. Like the hue of it is shifted to be a little more sort of reddish violet. But this is something only people with astral magical gifts would be able to sense.
I think don't worry about that for now.
And don't tell him.
Nah, it seems fine.
He's got enough to worry about already.
Good thing Shiki's not looking because he would see the change.
Yes, but in Shiki you would also, be aware of the magic that you've kind of passed through as well. Perhaps it's not unusual to walk through places that are have an extra layer of protection this way. They are supposed to be at war here after all. So once you enter into here, Shiki, I mean, who is it you're looking to talk to or deal with?
The professor, we've got an appointment to see him at his nearest convenience.
Yep, so you head straight into university. Several layers of security you pass through, but, you just get through them all eventually. And you're taken up a few floors and told, the professor's extremely busy, there's a lot going on. We know you have a point to see him, he knows that you're here and waiting, but unfortunately we can't, hurry the process along. He'll just be with you when he's ready. Is there anything we can offer you hospitality-wise while you're waiting?
Just some tea would be fine.
They look at your servant, who is still pale white and kind of shaky. Would your servant perhaps like something to eat?
Now, Q desires something, you'll be free to ask.
Of course, they'll go to him. It's like they start offering him all this like seafood and fresh fish that came in just this morning. Whereupon he just starts like convulsing and retching.
Do you have any antiseptic medication?
Of course, we have some of the most talented healers in the kingdom present.
He's been awfully unwell since we left the southern continent. I do worry for him.
Oh, I'm sure we can get him attended to, if it's not hassle for your lordship.
Oh, of course not.
So they take him
Yeah, I
away
would
to get
rather
it.
have. Yeah. And I'll just sit in like at the cafeteria of the university, just sipping tea.
Yes, I mean there's a lot of activity going on. Although it's a university, this is very much like military headquarters. There's all kinds of people with magical abilities going around. Military personnel, traders and merchants and envoys from all over the place. It's just a bustle of activity. And then amongst all that is our Dryad in Dracan. So where are you guys going once you're inside?
Wasn't I supposed to be taking this to somebody here?
Yeah, the professor taught me.
So I guess I would have been unfortunately following the Vitch kid
Yeah, not so much following, but going in the same direction, yeah.
and his sick servant.
I can imagine, like, I'm like, we go to the university. And Dracan hears us be loudly proclaiming that, so he starts to follow us. But then me and my servant get lost in the way, so he's following someone who's lost.
Yeah, and given Dracan's background as well, he's certainly going to recognise your attire, your accent. He's going to be able to make a pretty good guess about where you're from.
He might even have a good guess on the Abbey clan, the Demon Hunter clan.
Oh yeah, if there's a clan, oh yeah, I'm aware of it.
Yeah, but unfortunately for you, Dracan, whereas him and his servant just seem to get through every checkpoint with ease, for you it's an ordeal of lies upon lies every time. You're having to constantly be on edge and switch things around in your hands so they don't get discovered, and it's just a real tiresome headache to try and get through all these levels of security.
Just gonna keep looking at the Dryad like if he wasn't here, I could just sneak on through.
Damn, just watching the proceedings and being like, damn, how did he keep doing this?
And as you're going through, it's like you're getting more and more questions, and they're getting, it's getting harder and harder to kind of pass things off. And the Dryad is becoming harder and harder for you to explain away. And you're at maybe sort of like the final sort of checkpoint before you're allowed in to actually get an appointment with this professor. And this is not just like a guard that's interviewing you. This is an experienced wizard. And instantly, you can see that you have a sort of this trigger magical aura. If you don't mind me asking, good sir, what is your intended purpose here in the city today?
I have an object I need to talk to the professor about.
And what is the nature of this object that you wield?
I wouldn't say I wield it, more like I'm transporting it, but that's very sensitive. I don't really need to talk to you about it.
Well, sir, I'm going to be the person of highest priority that you will see today. So if you're to discuss it with anyone, I would suggest it be me.
Is there anybody else around? Is it just him at this checkpoint?
There's other people around, but he is like the one in charge of this checkpoint here.
Can we go somewhere where there's no prying eyes then?
Kind of.
Do you have like a little conference room or something we could talk in?
He studies you for a moment, and then his eyeballs just go kind of glowing white, and it's just you and him standing in this sort of blue mist, as if you're suddenly somewhere else. You look down and like there's no ground beneath your feet, although you're standing on something solid. No one will interrupt us here.
From Jam's perspective, they just vanished.
You're kind of there, Jam, but you're more a sort of shadowy silver silhouette standing beside them. So you're there and you're not there, but you can see the two of them standing beside you, just kind of looking at each other. There's no words transpiring between them.
Not quite what I had in mind.
I know you carry something powerful on you. You triggered our magical wards as you entered the city. I've been watching you until this moment.
Great. Yeah, well, that item is kind of what I need to talk to the professor about.
I'm not going to ask you to hand over your item, as I'm sure that that's something you do not want to do. But before I allow you within vicinity of the professor, I must ask for you to explain it to me.
Did Ricardo, is he the one who told me to come here to like this particular place?
I believe it was the what you call it, the Elven Princess.
That's a
Oh,
little
Elven
bit.
Princess.
Princess.
Yeah, the Elven Princess. And you kind of trusted her because she was also like a shadow walker.
So would bringing her up like, oh, I'm just gonna bring her up, see if that gets me anywhere real quick before I go into.
Yeah, you bring up her name, and as soon as you do, his whole facial expression changes. And it's what, you know, the suspicion and sternness from it kind of goes away, and he looks almost kind of like relieved. He's like, "Oh, thank goodness, you're a friend of the princess."
Yes.
There are only a handful of us who know her by name, so there's no more to be said. I know I can trust you. Is the Dryad, is that another of her helpers?
Not as far as I'm concerned. She kind of just fell out of the sky, but something's not quite right with her condition.
Yes, I can see that she's in much pain. But
That's as far as I know. I didn't pry into her personal details.
well, on the basis that we are friends, would you be able to tell me about this item you have brought?
I would show it to him at that point. I don't really know much about it to be explaining it. So.
Yeah, you draw it out, and you know it's just a brass tablet. But for him, he's kind of like shields his eyes away from it for a moment, and he's like, "Oh my God, you've carried that here alone?"
You may not know it because I was traveling with the Dryad, but I usually don't get noticed so easily.
He like turns and waves his hand, and the blue mist disappears. And where you're standing, Jam, you know, beyond him before was kind of like a corridor, and suddenly the corridor's gone, and there's just a door. And he turns to you and Drakan both, and he says, "Please, this way," and he opens the door.
Well, that was easier than I thought.
I really get the impression you're someone important.
Really not. I was gonna walk through the door.
You just walk through the door, and you can see this. Maybe I don't know if he's maybe been slightly annoying you with his presence all the time, but you can see Shiki is kind of like sitting there on this velvet cushioned seating. You can see his servant just be kind of led away by one of the other assistants.
Not annoyed. I think my first thought was like, I picked up the wrong traveling companion. Like I don't say it out loud, but like that's like my first thought. Like he just got through here with no trouble at all, and I had to go to like a magical world, drop a princess's name, show the artifact. Like this guy's just sitting here. Picked
I
up
just
the
see them
wrong
go by
traveling
and go,
companion.
"Greetings, fellow travelers," as I raise my cup of tea.
The wizard, who's like follow you into the room afterwards, closes the door behind you, says, "I will notify the professor of your presence here immediately, if you don't mind waiting for just a few moments." And Shiki, you probably think he's talking to you.
I'll
Almost
just
wonderful.
nod, and sit down. Yeah, I'll just nod and go to a corner.
The the wizard almost kind of like glides past you all and just disappears into a wall on the other side of the room. A few moments later, Professor Totnu. I mean, you guys don't know what it looks like, but right away you can tell he's like the big cheese here. He just like emits an aura of power. He looks drained and exhausted. His eyes are all bloodshot and bleary. His pupils are wide. His beard and his long beard and hair is just like cackling with magical energy. And he just tiredly opens the door and leans out and just softly waves at you all to come in.
I will lean next to the giant and whisper, "That's somebody important."
I'll stand up, place the cup of tea gently on the bench, and walk gracefully through the door.
Yeah, I'll just walk through. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, the three of you follow him into the door and the door closes itself behind you. This is a large round chamber right at the top of the university. You can feel the wind blowing in through one side of the windows and out the other. It's fairly barren, but there is a massive brass orb just rotating in the centre of the room, and occasionally it kind of like fizzles with electricity, although it doesn't seem to be connected to anything. There's some bookshelves and a table on one side of the room, and the professor just tiredly kind of falls into the chair behind the table, the big stack of books beside him. One of the assistants is standing there writing something in a big massive book, and he looks up to see what's happening. The professor just turns over to him and waves his hand, and the assistant walks off and leaves the room out of the door you just came in. The tired professor, without even lifting his eyes up because he's looking down at all the books and papers in front of him, "I'm told you bring good news for me, my friend."
I'm gonna like glance at Shiki before I say anything. Like, yes, I suppose I do.
And Shiki tilts his head at that comment because, like, I was to hear news from you, as the thing's going through his head.
Because, if you don't mind, and he holds his hand out towards you, Drakan.
I think I'll glance at Shiki again. Like, you sure other people should be here right now?
And at this point, he lifts his head and almost kind of just notices Cheeky for the first time. I'm sorry, this is not your companion?
Oh, I entered your waiting room. This man was already there.
I'm Shiki of the Abbey clan.
Oh, I'm sorry, my lord. There seems to have been a slight misunderstanding. Would you mind returning to the waiting room?
Oh, that's all. I'm just here on business at the tablets. We can discuss it whenever you have a free moment. And I'll calmly turn around and walk out the door.
As you're about to walk out, he said, "I'm sorry, my lord. You mentioned the tablets?"
Yes. The reason our clan reached out to you was we heard you were seeking the legendary tablets. Our family are the guardians of the tablet of conjuration. We have been for ever since our clan's founding, to be honest.
I see. Do you bring news of its location?
Well, 4 generations ago, the time of when my great grandfather was about to ascend to the position of clan chief, the tablet was stolen from us. We've been living in a somewhat form of exile ever since, in a quest to reclaim the tablet. We're hoping with your search of the tablet, you may have information on the tablet of conjuration.
I see. So your intentions are to reclaim this artifact?
Our family are the guardians of the artifact, but if the tablet is in need, we are there to support. I believe the clan history says we're to aid those seeking the tablets for the forces of good, the prevention of the great evil returning.
Well, I would say that this is indeed that time, and we are indeed those persons, as we are in need of the tablets to vanquish the Dark Lord Malekith, who has ravaged our lands and slain our emperor.
I see. That is indeed the time prophesied, where. So once the tablet is being reclaimed, our clan shall be in what? Full servitude to your cause.
Then we are indeed in your debt, as we would very much like or enjoy the aids and services of your clan, if that's what you're offering.
The Demon Hunter clan, the Great Abbey clan, will offer full service once the tablet has been reclaimed.
At the
Until
mention
then,
of... Sorry, when you go.
I will be in your service in the search for the tablet of conjuration.
So at the mention, when you say demon hunters, Drakan, you just notice the professor's eyes just for a moment look at you and then look back at Shiki. And he says, "My lordship, we are indeed in your debt. If I perhaps wouldn't be so rude for me to ask you to join the waiting room again, and we can discuss how we can put you into service in aid of the rebellion."
Would I have been able to notice? Sorry, would I have been able to notice him looking at Shiki there?
You can roll for it, yeah.
Okay. That would probably be
I would think careful, yeah.
yeah. Right. So that's an 8.
Yes, you definitely notice him giving him a look. I know, and you don't know the nature of what it was they were discussing, really. So there's definitely so the association of the word and looking at him, you know, there's something demon related going on there.
So I'll bring up the fact that Drakan's half demon. It's like, is this because our fellow here is half demon? Is that what you're concerned?
He looks at Drakan. I'm not sure. Is our friend here concerned about his demonic nature?
I don't give two craps about my demonic nature or what business it is of his. That's not why I didn't want him in here.
The Abbey clan has worked with half demons in the past before. As long as they do not follow their demonic nature, they are considered to be peaceful.
Our friend here, I can assure you, is an ally of ours, and is no threat. And under those
He's an ally of ours. He's an ally of the Abbey clan.
I think Jam is just looking thoroughly confused at this point. Because I imagine they've been travelling together for quite a few days, right?
Probably a couple of weeks at this point, yeah.
Half demon, what's that?
Oh no, it's more like, wait, but demons would have killed me on sight. Like, he must be wrong about this.
Well, this is one of the reasons I can quite easily trusting Drakan right now. He's like been traveling with a dryad, and the dryad is completely unharmed. It's like there's no way a dryad, a spiritual creature like a dryad, would travel with a malicious half demon. So it must be a friendly half demon.
Or a dryad that has been enslaved.
I'm pretty sure as a demon hunter I would know if you were enslaved or be able to.
Yeah.
Especially with my greeting when I went up to greet you. You definitely did not feel like you were a slave.
Well, given
Or unwilling.
the nature of our friend Shiki, our Lord Abbey here, I think we're all friends and we can share information freely in regards to tablets.
Alright, so in clear, not giving a crap fasten, I'm just gonna whip the tablet out.
I mean, yeah, the professor's seen a few tablets by this point, so he's not like all in all of them anymore. There's more.
This was more for Shiki's benefit than his.
Yeah. There's more of a sort of maybe Shiki's like eyes light up and say, "Oh my god, the tablet." He's like,
yeah.
But the professor is almost weary the way he's like putting out his hand and the tablet just kind of floats from Drakan over to the professor's hand. It just floats above it. He doesn't make physical contact with it, and you can see the sparks of magical energy between the two. This task is starting to become something of a burden, I'm afraid. And he throws his hand out, and the tablet spins across the room, slams into the brass orb, and just kind of like disappears into it. And the whole chamber fills up with sparks of magic energy. You can feel it kind of like fizzling in your hair, and more so like along the sort of frontal cortex of your brain, that space between your brain and the skull. You can just feel this like fizzling sensation for a moment. And now we have 4. I'm afraid, Sarabi, we do not know the location of this conjuration tablet. We are in pursuit of 2 of the others at the moment, but some of our strongest allies have been sent after them. But that leaves us 2 still missing, and we, I'm afraid, so far have failed to find or discover any leads to their location.
Great shame. If you do discover any information or any leads on the tablet, please inform us, and I will immediately quest there to upon its recovery.
Of course. Again, we are honoured by your presence and grateful for your aid.
I'm just thankful for all you've done so far.
You said it was stolen 4 generations ago?
Yes, it was. The Abbey
who?
clan originates in the Isles of the Rising Sun. We don't know exactly who, but many speculated it was by one of the infamous ninja clans. This was during the dying days of the Great Wars.
I see.
Is there something useful you might want to tell us, Drakan? Says the professor.
Fucking, I want to side this professor like he knows more than he should be.
Yeah, he's definitely got some ability going on here.
Yeah. Well, I was kind of employed, or kind of still am employed, by one of these ninja clans.
Shiki will actually be shocked for the first real time. Like, what?
But being a diplomat, does he hide that though?
Yeah, but it's like the longest. He's still got a bit of an experience. This is like the first time he's failed that sort of like casual smile on his face is dropped. Like, what?
I've been around for a while. I don't remember hearing about my particular clan stealing such an artifact, but I'm not exactly high ranking either.
But ninjas do have connections.
Do you believe perhaps...
Gatherings.
Sorry, you go.
No? Yeah.
Oh, sure, okay. The professor will be like, do you believe perhaps, Drakan, that your clan may have some idea to the whereabouts of any of these tablets?
We do deal in information, so it's not implausible. But if it was stolen by a ninja clan, then we could definitely poke around with our rival clan. Like, I'm sure someone would have heard something.
Well, it would appear that the strands of destiny have bound you together then, my friends. It cannot be a coincidence that you've arrived here at the same time like this, with the backgrounds that you have and the information you may have access to. Perhaps I could put upon you both to make the inquiries, investigate this potential lead, as it might bring about the discovery of one or more of these tablets, which would help us all.
We'll gladly protect this quest, Professor.
What say you, Drakan?
I will.
So long as he doesn't go running and accusing my people of anything, if we're gonna be inquiring about it, we kind of need to be discreet.
I assure you, that will make no accusations. As I said, it was not. It is a common belief in the clan that it was done by one of the many ninja clans, but we have no proof. We have no evidence to sustain it.
We have obviously we have spies in their clan, and I'm sure they have spies in ours. That's the main reason we need to be discreet. If they do have
Abbey
it, we
Clan
don't
does
want
employ
them.
ninjas from time to time. Although we are very wary of them these days.
Yeah.
And what news do you bring from the Feywild, young Dryad?
She looks like she's struggling to keep up with all of the politics going on. I don't know what these clans are, but you said you had 4 of those tablets, didn't you?
That is indeed the truth, yes.
Did you have one for healing? The Feywild needs it.
With abjuration, we are indeed in possession of that tablet.
Can I take it with me? I need to bring it back. The Feywild's developing. The seasons are out of order. I don't know how long it'll last.
As much as I have sympathy for those of the Feywild, I'm afraid we cannot risk losing one of the tablets we have fought so hard to gain at the moment. Perhaps when our quest is fulfilled and Malachus is defeated, the poison affecting your realm will also cease. It cannot be a coincidence that they are happening at the same time like this. I'm sure they are linked at some level.
So if these two can find another, then you can lend me it. Maybe.
It will certainly bring us closer, one step closer, to a situation where, yes, we can help you.
Spoken like a true politician.
Is that in character?
Yeah, no, I probably whispered that to myself.
Mutters under his breath, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've told you what's happening in the Feywild. I think she'll uncover her arm to show like the burning bark coming off it.
And the professor gets up and walks around the side of the table over to you and holds one of his hands out over the skin of your arm and closes his eyes for a moment and then opens it again. You are deeply cursed indeed, my friend. I'm afraid this is a curse I cannot heal here, despite the power in my hand.
But with all the tablets, you might.
Yes, I think with the towers, all the tablets at our disposal, and the cleansing this land of the plague that's bringing it to its knees currently, I think under that situation, you and your kin could be healed.
And failing that, and she looks a little bit shaky. You said you could capture demons.
Yes, the Demon Hunter clan specializes in the capture, sealing, and banishment of demons.
Then if we can't cure this affliction, will you come with me to the Feywild? Once we've done this.
Once our quest for the Tablet of Conjuration is completed, I swear on my name I'll join you to the Feywilds in your aid.
Thank you. Then if I may come with you, then I would appreciate it. I can't leave this to chance.
So,
Comrade of the Feywilds is always a comrade of the Abbey clan.
so the professor, rather wearily, once more kind of heads back behind his desk and sits down. It is settled then. Our friends, our allies here, shall accompany each other south and investigate, or at least make inquiries to the various ninja clans and try to locate this tablet of conjuration. You have, of
Excellent.
course,
So-
all of the resources at Rebellion at your disposal. If you need anything at all, you can speak to my assistant. And if you don't mind, ladies and gentlemen, I now require some rest. It has been a long day.
Of course. May you rest well, Professor.
You just blink and you're like standing back in the waiting room.
Oh, I'm used to that kind of transportation.
Well, my new friends, the journey we shall be off. I'll get my servant Nauki, and we shall be ready to depart as soon as you are ready.
You just hear like vomiting in the next room, and one of the assistants going, "My God, I can't cure it."
You found one of these
Sure,
already.
he will be fine.
You found one of these tablets already, haven't you? So you know where to get them.
Talking to me?
But that was when you handed over, wasn't it?
I don't know where to get them. It's not like that. They're not just sitting in one spot that we all know about.
But you found one.
Yes, me and some companions found one. But as you can see, I'm also the only one here.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm not asking for apologies. That was that's not easy. You don't just stumble upon them.
No, I understand. I didn't realise.
My clan has
yes.
been searching for nearly 2 centuries for these tablets. For our tablet, I can assure you the journey will be one of trials.
I had thought it might have been more peaceful out here than in the Feywild at the moment, but I suppose not.
A different kind of danger out
There
here.
are other troubles in where we're going as well. There's been a great demonic incursion in the southern continent.
And that's what
Most
we
of the
have to
Abbey
go.
clan have been summoned to join the fight, but we shall see how that goes.
If I could just,
Just
oh, you go, Jack.
whistling in it. I'm just whistling innocently when he mentioned demon
Yeah, like,
incursion.
oh, the one incursion. Oh, that sounds terrible. I wonder how that happened. Oh well.
Oh well, yeah. Wow, that's unfortunate.
If we can just cut away for a moment, and instantly we see this like 3-armed, purple, scaly, like just monstrous creature swiping at Razaluru, and him just like clanging against its massive hooked claw with his axe, as Fee, the other captive, are just trapped in their cages in the wagon sat immediately behind this battle that's raging on. The goblin is already hiding in one of the bushes off to the side. You've been making your way through the forest and the foothills west of Oakstead towards the town of Twinport on your way towards the pit, when one of these creatures just erupted seemingly from nothing in midair and started to attack Resoluro.
What manner of foul magic is this?
The creature rears back and opens its massive, elongated maw, and it's just this black void beyond the edges of its teeth, and it lets out this ear-piercing scream, and it just lunges through the air at you with all 3 of its arms outstretched again. What'd you do?
I'm going to reach up, grab the top and bottom of its jaw, and just try to rip it in half.
Sounds forceful because you're strong.
Yep.
Oh, and you're strong. Okay, so 3d6 plus 1. It's totally wrong music for this. I don't have good like fantasy fight music. It sounds
7.
wrong. Sure, the creature lunges at you. You grab either side of its jaw with your massive arms. Its 3 outstretched talons just kind of like tear into you at different locations. But you manage to like grab hold of its jaws and just like rip the thing in half down the middle. But not before its claws like dig into your flesh all around. Each of them just like a massive purple thorn just like stabbed into your skin. And blood just like pours out of the wounds if you want to take, I guess, a wound.
I'll just take bleeding heavily.
You rip the thing in half and the scream of it dies. The vortex between its, within its jaw just sort of like dissipates and fizzles in the air. And as the body hits the ground, the whole thing just kind of like dissolves into nothing. This is maybe the 5th or 6th of these kind of creatures that you've encountered on your journey so far.
So many strange things happening recently.
The second prisoner, not Fee, is like rattles his cage as he's become wont to do lately. Are you finally going to let us out of here? One of those things is going to kill us, you know.
What do you mean? Let you out of where? The door is unlocked.
That... What? He kicks the door and it just like flies open.
Yeah, I don't know why you all are still in there. I thought it was safer.
Fee definitely laughs.
What the hell are you laughing at? You've been trapped here too. This is ridiculous. I'm getting the hell out of here, and he jumps out of the cage.
Yeah, Fee will just continue laughing.
Is he heading towards where we're going, or is he going in the opposite direction, back towards the...
Jumps out of his cage, looks around, and just realizes you are like in the middle of nowhere. You're miles and miles from anywhere. This land is full of bandits and thieves and monsters now, evidently. He just kind of like sullenly defeated, goes back into his cage and closes the door.
As he comes back in his cage, I look at him and just tell him, no, it feels easier being in this cage, doesn't it?
Locks are too small. I can't pick up the keys. And I don't trust Grintook with the keys.
Well, I suppose as long as we're with the cow here, our odds are a little better than wandering around on our own.
Yes. Now, it is easier knowing that you can exit, that you can walk away, but still, you came back.
You've known
other
all
thing,
along, haven't you?
Well, it took me some time to realize. And the other thing is, I don't think it's a smart idea to continue calling him a cow if you want to survive.
Well, I'm not going to apologise to him. But yes, you might be right. A modicum of respect might be appropriate. If the goblin doesn't poison him first, that is.
Yes, and after all, he has been nicer to us than anybody in the cube. He's feeding us. He's not even insulting us. He just doesn't even mind us being here.
That's because he's a damn animal. They don't think like we do.
Yes. I've met a lot of humans. They usually think they are better. They think of themselves being better. I just shrug off and I turn the opposite direction from him.
The goblin's like wandered over to where the creature fell and is just kind of like poking and prodding the ground to see if there's anything left of it. I bet it was really poisonous too.
I will probably call for Goblin. Psst, psst. Hey, Goblin.
He walks over and he's got a bit of a swagger on him. You can see he's got the keys around his belt. What do you want, slave?
Well, I've seen what you're trying to do. Are you trying to poison Minotaur?
Looks over at the Minotaur and then looks back at you with like wide-eyed panic. Shh, what are you talking about?
Psst, be careful. Hey, I just want to give you one hint, you know? I want to help you out.
Oh, really?
Oh yes, there is probably something you don't know about the Minotaurs, do you? Because you've been very, very unsuccessful so far. So, I'll tell you a secret. What do you say?
And what do you want in exchange?
Well, in exchange, I mean, it's only me and this guy in the cages, and the cages are open. You unnecessarily carry the keys. So, I want the keys. So you don't decide to lock us in. After all, we are voluntarily here in our cages. We could just escape, but we are still here. I don't want to leave this to a chance. I want the keys for the information.
He kind of strokes the edge of the key ring for a second. This is clearly like the only bit of power he really has in the whole dynamic here, and he's a little reluctant to give it up so easily. He's like, you know how to poison a minotaur?
Yes, and I know it's a dilemma for you right now, but hear me out. I could just as easily, although these wounds are still looking pretty bad, I could just as easily walk through this cage, walk up to your backpack, and show him the poisons you're trying to make. I could have done that, didn't I? You're a smart guy, you're not stupid. You know that I could do this. But that's why you can trust me. That's why you can give me the keys. So once he's dead, we can go separate ways. What do you say?
He thumbs it for a second more and thinks. And then he stretches out his little green hand. All right, mister, you got yourself a deal.
Very good. So, let me tell you something. The Minotaur is naturally resistant to the poisons, but he has an allergy. All Minotaurs do. And with frequent doses of pomegranate juice, they will surely die. It will just burn the guts. It will be very, very painful for them. But it needs to be frequently given. What do you say?
He says, and he rubs his chin, his little red beady eyes looking around as he does so. And he unhooks the keyring from his belt and walks over to you. Well, that certainly sounds like an interesting proposition. And he shoves the key into the lock and locks the lock of your cage. And he dances around for a second, jingling the keys. Well, thank you for that, slave.
And Fee just laughs. He laughs because, well, you maybe are just so stupid. Pomegranate juice? You really believe that? Of course I wouldn't tell you the truth until you gave me the keys, dummy.
Well, we'll see about that. Pomegranate juice, eh? It's like, hey, Raz! He waves you over.
What do you want, Grintook?
I just had an idea for a new recipe tonight, but I need some pomegranates. We need to get to the next town quickly so I can buy some from a trader.
Pomegranates.
Yeah, it'll be
What the hell's
real
a pomegranate?
tasty. Oh, you love it. It's this delicious fruit. And I know just the recipe to make for you. And he gives Fee a big wink.
Then we best hurry. He
Yes,
just picks the
yes.
goblin and tosses him on top of the carriage, and then hooks himself to and starts just sprinting off towards the next town.
Yeah, and usually there's jingling, bumping in the back as you're kind of like running along, pulling this this cart. And as you do so, you just like get back onto a road, and you can see there's like one little crappy like wooden sign, and it has one point going west. It says Night Cross, 150 miles. I'm gonna stop for 2 minutes and go to the bathroom.
All right, sounds good.
Could we take a wee bit longer break for about 5-10 minutes, please?
Yeah, no problem.
I'm not entirely sure how the Minotaur is going to end up on our side. Considering that he's about to be assassinated.
He's a mercenary. He'll just be paid.
Ah, fair enough. At the moment, it's feeling like either the goblin or the minotaur is gonna die.
Neither.
I just imagine the goblins' backstory is just they were hired at some point to kill the Minotaur, but it's just taken so long that they feel like they have to find some way to finish their job.
Even if he, for some reason, comes clean and tells the Minotaur that, hey, the goblin's trying to kill you, the Minotaur's like, he cooks good food. Like, he ain't killed me yet. He cooks good food, so.
Like, see, the closer the food gets to killing him, the better it tastes.
It's got a
Just,
little
like,
kick to it, you know?
yeah, it's just adding spice to it.
Yeah, I'm back.
I got it. The Minotaur is just so old and set in his ways that he doesn't believe that poison will kill him, even if someone does try to. He thinks the only way he's gonna die is in combat.
It, like, hasn't learned the notion that things can kill you from inside.
It hasn't happened yet, so there's nothing to worry about.
Would he have encountered like magic before, or is that just weird to him?
I imagine most of the wizards or stuff he's met have just been unable to do anything to him, just because he's from his magic resistance.
It's like
Sorry.
like protection through ignorance.
Yeah, he just thinks they're shooting colorful lights at him, and it's just bouncing off his skin.
Reheated pizza.
Alright, I'm back.
Welcome back.
I'm just finishing reheated pizza.
Fancy.
Alright, ready when you guys are.
Yeah, I'm here.
Eating but ready.
Yeah, I'm still here.
I'm here.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I know we didn't spend long with feeding that, but we will come back. Okay, yeah, so Shiki, Drac, Jam, our little C6 servant, who's once again found himself on a ship, are now heading south, back across the ocean, and the fastest route you've kind of planned is to land at Mina in the Nightcross, because there's no official, there's not an official port there. It's very much sort of pirate land, bandit country, and you should be able to make your way unnoticed there, or a two-man fad, and then charter a vessel to sail south to take you to the Metal Caliphate, where Drac says his clan is headquartered. So now you are on the boat. You've been at sea for probably a little over a week, and you're sailing in amongst all these tropical islands, which you're told is the safest passage to avoid sort of the storms and being caught by pirates that are coming in and out of the Nightcross. It's extremely humid and sweaty, even on the ocean here, as you're kind of like going in amongst these different islands. There are several times when you've seen like large amphibious creatures coming on and off the shores, but it's been pretty plain sailing so far. Nothing really untoward or unfortunate has happened yet, apart from your Shiki's poor servant, who is just constantly just been sick. He's looking positively like starved, dehydrated, malnutritioned at this point, because he just can't hold anything down for any length of time. and it's taking the ship's healer just to kind of keep him going long enough that he can hold down like the odd stew or soup. Of course, this has left the three of you some time on board the ship to kind of get to know each other a little more, discuss where you're coming from and what it is you're doing. And I don't know if Jam, if you've ever even been on the ocean before.
I don't know why I get the impression that dryads wouldn't really get seasick, but wouldn't really be comfortable on boats either.
Yeah, I mean, aside from the fact the boat is made from dead trees, which is probably kind of the cab for you, the uneasiness of going back and forth and being sat on top of all this water instead of being rooted right into the nice fresh earth is probably quite unsettling for you.
She's keeping Shiki's servant company.
Yeah, the servant, I've forgotten his name already, man.
Naoki.
Aoki.
Naoki. Naoki. Okay.
Yeah, Naoki is sort of like a physical representation of how you feel inside.
And what are the others doing?
Well, as I imagine it's like you're heading south under the cover of being a trade vessel. At first yous were flying Omkin colours, which is kind of like a blue and white quartered design. But yous quickly changed to sort of pirate colours as you enter this region of the ocean, just so that other vessels are less likely to give you hassle. The crew themselves are a kind of ragtag bunch. Some of them are experienced military men, others are bandits, mercenaries, pirates themselves that have been taken on board. Each of them has been telling you horrific tales about the scourge that have struck from the ocean under command of one of Malka's generals, and how they've been raiding and destroying ports and villages up and down the coastline. Many of them lost like their families, their ships, their crewmen, and they're all now united in this rebellious fight against the Dark Lord because of the damage it's inflicted upon them and their communities. So there's, on the board the ship, there's very much a sense of you're on a mission to do something important. And although these men won't be going any further than Mina with you, they're dedicated to getting you there safe and sound. So yes, at the moment this is just like another day on the ocean. Yous are only 24 hours or so away from making port in Mina. And everything's been plain sailing so far. And Naoki is even starting to perk up a little bit, knowing that he's close to being on dry land again. And not just dry land, but the home continent. And he's begun to make inquiries with you, Shiki, about, what exactly are you doing once you hit the port?
We're on a holy quest.
Yep.
No matter.
Yes, sir.
You'll be home nice and safe.
I'll be going home.
I can't carry a servant around with this secret mission we're on. It'll be too conspicuous. You'll be rewarded plenty by the clan, don't worry.
That's amazing, sire. I'm ever so thankful. Is there a safe passage booked out of the Nightcross? I hear it's the land of banditry.
We do have an operations base in the Nightcross. They should be able to get safe passage from our affiliates there. By the way, Shiki has been completely fine despite this insane tropical weather. He's totally great on the sea, totally fine, just to make it Naoki's life even worse.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yes, and Naoki has obviously been spilling his guts, literally and figuratively, to Jam as they've shared this voyage. He's told you all about how he came into service with the Abbey clan, and how he just wanted to make a quick buck and some prestige so he could go back to his clockmaking business that his father runs. To marry the girl of his dreams that he was dating previously.
Just telling her everything.
How long has it been since you've been home?
2 months. 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 2 months
It's been, you know, like at least 6 months, I think. Time has
And-
just passed so slowly on these constant ocean waves.
And does Shiki pay well enough that you'll be able to stop soon?
Well, I hope his lordship pays well enough. Unfortunately, we haven't reached the point yet where I actually get paid for my services.
What?
I'm sure upon the end of our mission that the clan will compensate me richly, though.
Is that a death flag?
No, they're quite
Is it on?
they're a very honourable organisation. I have no doubt I'll be compensated well.
Well, if you're leaving us at the port ahead, then not much longer.
No, I hope not. Hey, what's that on the horizon? He says and points.
And what is it on the horizon?
He's like, screw your eyes a little bit against the sunlight. There's definitely something dark on the horizon. It looks like it's moving at speed.
So, I guess if you'll rush to, like, would he be like inside the ship, or like, in the middle of it, or?
Oh, you'd be up on the deck, like leaning over the side. That's where Naoki was anyway.
Then she'll rush up to the crow's nest and see if there's someone up there.
Yeah, you
If-
start climbing the crow's nest and you start hearing the bell ringing. Da-ding, 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 da-ding. Starboard
Does anyone-
side.
Does anyone know what's coming?
There's all a flurry of activity. And you can just hear shouts of pirates! Man the battle stations, everyone! You can see the crewmen running, grabbing their muskets and their swords. You can see some of the militiamen that were wearing uniforms kind of like rip them off their bodies and like throw on sort of shabbier looking overtops. One of the men who's got very finely combed hair and likes to look after himself just kind of like ruffles it all up so he looks a bit rougher.
I think Jam was a like duck below the side of the ship, try and stay hidden.
I can imagine Shiki sort of like is sitting on deck with like a sunshade umbrella, sipping tea.
Well, he's got like a wee paper talisman hanging off the parasol that's providing a cooling breeze to him as well.
And when the
Like, oh
crew,
dear, pirates!
one of the crewmen comes round up to you and goes, "Excuse me, my lord, but we believe pirates are coming to board us."
Oh, well, we shall see about this. I'll pull a talisman out, chant a small spell, throw it into the air as it turns into a small bird, and I'll pull a second talisman out that was stuck to that one, hold it near my ear, and have the bird fly towards the ship to hear what the other ship's saying. Bye, bird.
Okay, Drac, what'd you do when you hear the alarm being raised?
I think I'm gonna like attach to like the mast, you know, like by the sails. It's kind of like hide within the sails, hanging there. Shadow step up there, and then just hang around, wait and see what happens.
Sure, like under one of the beams up high. Give you
Yeah.
a good view. Sure, you see this little sort of yellowy magic bird kind of like spin in the air from a talisman and like fly off in the direction of the other vessel. I'm looking to the horizon. Any of you that have got like a periscope or something like that, a telescope or something like that, you can see there's this very large galleon with these black sails and it's just tearing across the ocean in your direction using the wind. You guys obviously are not moving nearly as fast because of the direction you're going in the direction of the wind. It's clearly going to be able to intercept you, and that does seem to be its intent.
Okay. Can we
Yeah, it
confirm
does look
that they're
like
hostile, or are we just waiting to see?
Oh, it's definitely a wait and see kind of thing. Shiki, your little bird will get there obviously before it reaches you. And they do indeed seem to be planning to like pull up alongside your ship and quite possibly attack. They're like, you can hear them yelling discussions to each other about how many guns does she have? How many crew? What size is she? Do you think she has any loot? Like she must have loot if she's going into port.
Yeah, I'll inform the captain of and the crew about what they're saying on the other ship. I'll be saying it very calmly, diplomatically, like I'm completely irrelevant to this conversation. Just everything matter of factly, like
Yeah.
I'm.
So he confirmed that they do want to loot us.
The captain's just kind of nods gravely. He's like, well, we were going to encounter trouble at some point in this journey. You best get below deck, my lord. And perhaps you should take your manservant with you.
Sorry, I was eating there. But... Oh. You sure you will not need my assistance up here?
No, my lord, I think perhaps we might even be able to talk our way out of it before resorting to violence, but if they see you, I think they'll guess that something is up.
I understand. Come, Naoki, come, we'll go below deck.
Naki's like half-heartedly trying to wrap a belt around his waist that's got a sword in it.
Lady Jam, you should probably join us as well. I don't think such ruffians would ignore a beauty such as yourself.
Very well.
The three of you kind of like go below decks, and it's like if you thought it's sweaty above, it's much sweatier below. The smell of all these people living in the close quarters for weeks on end. Yes, there's a sort of tense wait.
Before it gets to us,
Sure.
can I do something?
Yeah.
Can I just shadow step to the boat? I mean, I'm sure it has shadows on it, right?
Yeah, once it gets close enough, you can kind of tell that it's good to. Yeah.
Okay, so I would like to do that, the shadow step to its mast, and then like start cutting the sails, like the ropes tying the sails together.
Ah, okay. Okay, where do you want to roll for this then? Sneaky?
Sneaky, yeah. I'm trying to get caught doing it.
So you got your spider crawl, so moving around there is no problem. I'm going to say you don't have advantage because obviously there's a lot of people around and it's broad daylight.
Right. So 2d6.
Just 2d6 plus
modifier.
2, yeah. Oh, aced it easily, yes. Yeah, you're just on the underside of the top mast, you're just like crawling along, slash saw cut, slash slow cut. One by one, the sails just like fold over, and their ship rapidly loses speed and just like comes to a slow. It gets almost up alongside the ship they're targeting, your ship. But they slow down and lose all their momentum as they do so. And so as they're like approaching it and slowing down, your guys' ship just starts to like accelerate and speed up again. The captain just kind of like yells for directions and about turn with the sails, so you can take advantage of it and turn around, get away from them.
Yep, and then I'll just shadow step back.
Yes, and as your ship pulls away from theirs and the crew are all kind of like cheering, patting each other on the back, and the captain's like, I wonder what the hell spooked them so bad.
Who knows?
Did you see the speed they lowered their sails?
Or maybe they're just cowards at heart, and they saw there was more of us than they thought.
Perhaps. I'm kind of cautious that they know something we don't. And he posts like extra men on watch on the deck to keep an eye out for sea serpents.
Shit. Definitely don't want to run across none of those.
No, we do not.
Keep up the good work, Captain.
Thank you, Mr. Drakan.
I'm just gonna walk away. I guess I'll go get Jam, and the others like, hey, it's safe to come back upstairs now.
That was quick. What happened?
There's a bunch of cowards, I guess, turn yellow and man.
Well, better than conflict, I suppose.
That's most pleasant news. Okay, we can return to the X. I'm sure you'll feel much better up there.
Nalky's just got like one hand against a pillar, just like holding his stomach in, breathing heavily.
And I'll return with my like parasol with the wind spirit talisman.
Fee, you and Raz, you have been through the town of Twinport, sailed across to Manfred, and then spent another 2 weeks going from town to town, village to village, desperately trying to find a trader that sells these pomegranates. Because the goblin just will not give up, and he's become more and more insistent upon it, to the point where he's like jumping up and down top of the cages and like positively screaming that, no, we must go on, we must find them, you don't understand, they're so delicious.
Yeah, and the worst thing is, if I hadn't been locked now, I would probably just head off in the first village. But this bastard goblin locked us again.
Yeah, and you know, every time you reach the village and every time you meet a trader and they don't have what he's looking for, he sticks his head through the bars of the cage and just curses you, telling you how you're never going to get free. He's going to make sure at the end of this journey you're going to be roasted on a spit.
Hey, goblin, can we talk for a minute?
What have you got to say now?
Well, before I tell something of great value to you, let me just ask you, why did you lock us? I mean, look at us. I'm barely sitting here. Why, if the Minotaur would die, why would you just leave us here? What is the point of that?
Why wouldn't I leave you here? You humans have done nothing but spit in my people for centuries. Well, now it's payback time.
Oh, so it's that. And you would leave us here to die?
Not before I set you on fire.
Oh, I see. Okay, then you must know something about pomegranate.
What's that?
Well, they don't have it in these places because it is not native to this region. It is from somewhere else. And of course, I'm not gonna tell you. Because you betrayed me and the fellow prisoner here.
I didn't betray you, I'm just smarter than you is all it is.
Oh, okay. Well, then good luck finding the pomegranates here.
They don't grow them here, eh? Hey, Raz,
What? What is it? What?
we need to get to a port.
A port.
Yeah,
A
somewhere
port.
where they import fruits.
Sounds like something pirates would do. Let's go beat up some pirates to find out where they have it.
Yeah. You know, throws Fee like the evil eye as if like, haha, I've outsmarted you again. Use tear off kind of northwest from where he's currently are, towards the port of Mina in Nightcross. You arrive there, and the place, there's these great purple banners with like a white sigil and a pointed arrow on them. Something you haven't really seen before, but the place is, I mean, the countryside is full of villages that have been ransacked and burned, scorched. There's marauders and pirates and other kind of hooligans roaming all over the place. But this place is something else. half the city is on fire when you arrive there. It sounds like it's in the middle of a great battle, and it's just this huge, not a single but multiple like street battles have broken out between different gangs. It looks like just going at each other. There doesn't seem to be any semblance of order or law in this city at all. And the city itself is little more than like a large port harbour town.
It's a little more rowdy than it was last time I was here.
Oh, this is Fee and Raz. Although
Oh, it's Fee and Raz, sorry.
you see the same thing and you draw into port as well.
Yeah. That's what I'll be saying when we get there.
They started the fight without us. I'm gonna grab Grintook. I'm gonna load him into my sling, and
Hey, Raz, what are you doing?
Grintook, get them ready for me. I'm gonna start swinging it, spinning it up, all the while he's screaming.
Not like this, not like this. They launch him
Go,
into the air.
lead us into glorious battle, and just launches him at the nearest group of pirates.
Yeah, you just hear like, ah, as he like crunches into the face of one of the pirates and falls, disappears into the massive bodies and axes and swords and clubs. Just dust kicking up everywhere like a big cartoon mess. You guys in the ship, you drop alongside the harbour, you know, a distance out. Smoke's coming from one side of the city. You can hear the din of battle from where you are. And there's a wonder among the crew as if like, are we too late? Has the war reached these shores ahead of us? Like, what's happening?
That's when you hear it's like, it's a little more rowdy here than it was last time.
The captain's concerned, obviously, that pulling into the harbour proper might be too dangerous and risky. Perhaps you guys should just load into one of the boats and try to make your way to shore unnoticed.
That probably would be safer. If the fighting's at the port this time, then yeah, that would be more dangerous.
This time, just implying that it's always like this here.
Yeah, there was less of the city on fire last time I was here, hence why I said less rowdy. But there's usually some sort of fight or brawl going over here in this place.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pirate town. But there has been in the past a semblance of order.
Yeah, it usually means the person in charge is, died. That's usually what happens, or someone's decided to kill them
So,
or try and kill them.
I don't know if Drac you remember or not, but you were here before, and there was a pirate sorcerer woman called Lady Hedera, who was in charge of this city and held order over it, and you actually killed her.
Yes, I remember that.
Yes. So although this place is nominally under the control of Alamic and his generals, the person he'd placed in charge of this city, this town, used slew, and since then it's just descended into anarchy. And this evening just happens to be the sort of apex of that. The culmination of chaos and rivalries, grievances just erupting onto the streets.
Well,
If only I was by
as I
myself.
said, a little more chaotic, rambunctious than it was last time.
So you've visited here before, and you're still alive.
Yeah.
Great observational skills.
But aren't you wearing what they would consider loot?
Well, most definitely some people consider this loot, but there was, 30 of us at the time, and we defended ourselves very well. They knew not to mess with us.
Shouldn't we have bought another 27 then?
Sadly, most of the clans away. Remember are dealing with the demon incursion that I informed you about in the content. So,
And
guess we're on our own this time.
the rest of the crew are also kind of like looking at each other, kind of like, oh, we don't want to get involved. It's a valiant quest, but
I did agree with the captain's recommendation of taking the rowboats in.
Yes, of course, we're not going to send you in on your own. We'll also dispatch a party to help escort you in another one of the rowboats, and he like handpicks some of his finest military men, none of the pirates, to go with you.
Or we could, you know,
Most of it.
we could land these rowboats not inside the city limits.
Isn't this the home of your contacts?
Well, yeah, but we could always just wait this fight out. We don't have to. We don't have to land right in the middle of it.
There's like an explosion from one of the docks, and cannonballs and just spheres of flame go shooting in all directions.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be over
Fighting
soon, real soon.
We were here for when I was last here. We were here for about 2 weeks, and the fighting didn't stop.
There's like the phew of one of the cannonballs landing just like beside the ship into the water, and the captain's like,
Yeah.
"You better go now if we're going to do it."
Yeah, I heard it lasted about 6 months the last time there was. Lasted several months the last time there was a ruckus in the city.
Well, I mean, you could row the rowboat, so it's not like right in the city. Obviously, it's not that large.
Yeah. We can get in relatively easy.
Oh, the things I do to travel with people.
Fee, the other captor, who's since identified himself as Kaloum, opens his cage because his isn't locked, and he starts like rattling and pulling on the lock on yours. So I think this is time for us to leave, my friend.
Oh, no point. The goblin. He locked my cage. Well, farewell then. Enjoy your freedom.
Surely we can free this for you somehow.
Oh, well, if you don't mind helping me out, I would be thankful. If you can get the keys from the goblin. I can't see him anywhere now, but he has the key.
He turns and looks at the brawl that's happening down the hill where the goblin landed. He sticks his hand through the bars to shake your hand. He says, "Good luck to you."
Good luck to you.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
He makes it about
Oh.
12, 15 feet before an arrow strikes him between the shoulders and he keels over dead.
That's when Rosalo turns around and notices that he escaped. And seeing that one of his packages is dead, he just flies into a rage and lets out a loud moo before charging into the fray.
It's like your cry is so loud that there's a momentary kind of pause in the fighting as they look to see what's happening, and then they all just see this minotaur charging towards them. You guys are like in the rowboats coming across the shore, and you just hear this deafening like cry from the shoreline somewhere. It's just like this massive like beast is just like dying or something.
Dying or something.
And is that when the screams start?
Yes. Sure. When the fighting resumes, there's noticeably a lot more screams.
I don't know why, but that screech sounded familiar. Where have I heard it before?
That's more of a roar. Raz, do you want to roll me
Yeah, that's our roar.
forceful with what'd you call it? 3d6. Advantage, that's what I was looking for. Yeah, a 10 full success. Yeah, you charge into the crowd of them, goring a couple as you do so, crushing another couple beneath your feet. And that brawl that you just launched into quickly kind of dissipates and they start to turn and flee, more terrified of a minotaur getting involved than anything else. You can find, what was your goblin called?
Grintook.
Grintook is just kind of like curled up in a ball where everyone's feet were, and with these like hands over these big pointy ears. And as they run away, he kind of like looks up around and sees you, and pulls himself up to his feet and brushes himself off.
That was a wonderful hit, don't you think?
Yeah. Right, there's got to be some pomegranates around here somewhere.
Yes, search. I will find more fights.
Yeah, all right then, you big dumb brute.
I'm just gonna pick up like a cart, maybe full of fruit next to me, and just throw it at someone. It just happens to have pomegranates on it, but Rossalo doesn't know that.
Sure, yeah, you just like cleave a path of destruction as you go through the town, just reveling in the violence and the anarchy and the chaos of it all. So whereabouts are you guys pulling up your rowboat?
Well, I suppose if there's somewhere shaded, we could scout ahead, right?
Oh no, I don't think any of
Make-
you guys know that I can shadow step this yet.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm just out of character.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
But I guess there might not even be shadows on the rowboat for you to step through, so never mind.
Oh,
I
I
think
can. I can use anybody's shadow. I can use your shadow. As
Yeah,
long
there
as
might
it's
not be
ASAP.
one large enough on the boat because it's kind of awkward and isn't exposed.
But I think, well, cover would be nice anyway, so if there are any buildings along the shoreline, we could maybe make for them.
Oh, definitely. I mean, there's warehouses. These normally have, guards for the different companies and heights and stuff standing guard over them, because obviously thievery is a huge concern. There won't be a great many of them though. It's not like a typical harbour. There'll be a couple sporadically kind of spaced out so they're not too close to each other.
Yeah, I think a proper dock would be too obvious, so we need to go a bit to the side out.
Sure, there's like a tall rock wall that it's maybe like 10 feet above the water, so you're sloshing about there, trying to get close enough without dashing yourselves up against it, just to draw yourselves in so you can start to climb up the rock face onto the boarding above, because you don't want to risk going to any of the piers proper.
Although I don't suppose we saw where the cannonball earlier came from.
Yeah, we avoid where the cannons are firing from.
Yeah,
And
you're
probably hit
avoiding explosions.
as soon as we get to a bit with like a beach or nearby the city, I think we
Well,
can.
it's going to be this
safely-
drop, this like rock wall that's been constructed as a kind of, stop the when the water rises. Because you don't want to go on one of the actual dock piers, because that will be like fighting and stuff.
No, we don't.
Yeah, so
We're
you
rock facing, and we're gonna have to climb the rocks.
yeah, you get to one of these, and one of the crewmen will like throw up like a grappling hook ladder, rope ladder, just to make it a little easier to get up there.
Mhm.
So he'll turn around to the three of you and say, "Here we go," and he puts his dagger into his belt and starts to climb the rope ladder.
I'll come and think of it
And
before
now Shiki will immediately follow.
Sorry, Bert?
Is Naoki coming with us?
Where's Naoki's coming with
Shiki's
us?
servant, yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna get
It's,
paid, man. He has to.
What's the
Yeah,
form of it?
he's been through enough now. He's got to get paid.
We are honourable, and we have a contract, so he is going to get paid. And if he dies, his family will get paid.
I guess there's a moment where kind of Naoki looks at the rest of you and looks at Shiki, and then he's kind of sighs. He's like, "Okay, here we go," and gets up onto the rope ladder and follows after the crewman.
Well, Shiki goes first. After he'll go.
Oh, would you go
Immediately
before
after
your
the crewman.
servant? Okay.
Yeah, he'll go before the servant.
All right. Okay.
Shiki's like trying to keep showing. He's kind of at this point like barely remembering that Naoki's a servant. It just thinks like Naoki should follow him.
And I think after Naoki, Jam is probably the second boats, so we'll follow up after.
Sure. And Drac could easily just climb this wall without any of this anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna climb up the ladder though and struggle. Like I don't know how to do it.
Right, just pretend that you're kind of thing, man.
Yeah, pretend like I'm like useless.
Sure. As you guys get up to the top on the boarding, you can see there's people running past. Some of them are clearly looting one of these warehouses. You can see where one of the cannonballs probably has crashed through the wall and created a gap. You can see a couple of guards that are dead on the decking. One that's maybe still bleeding out and just kind of like trying to wriggle himself away. And then amongst all this chaos, people run back and forth. There's this little goblin sort of like skipping along the boarding, like opening up crates and peering inside them.
Has no idea what a pomegranate looks like, but he's just looking for one anyways.
Yeah, pretty much. You can hear him as he opens one of the crates going like, "Darn it! Where the hell are these things?"
I'll walk up towards the goblin and go like, "My good sir, what are you looking for?"
What the hell do you want?
Oh, no, I just saw that you seem to be troubled about something, so I was offering any advice or help we could do.
Yeah, stay out of my way. And he turns around, and then he stops, and then turns around to, "Hang on a second. Are you a trader?"
No, I'm not a trader.
You don't know what pomegranate looks like, do you?
Oh, yes. There's we have friends who grow pomegranates.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Puts his little dagger back in the little pouch. I'm in the market to find some pomegranates myself. If you happen to know someone.
Well, they're not native to this region but they are to the islands further north and also into the more southern islands. But then again, at island regions, sometimes the humidity is just a little too high. Where nearby would you get pomegranates?
That's what I've been wondering. I've been looking everywhere and I can't find them.
I do believe they would be traded around here. You'd probably find some in any of the local merchants.
At that moment, you just hear another bestial roar coming from at the end of the decking, the boardwalk. And then just like a crashing sound as if someone's just slammed something heavy into a wall.
That's what I recognize that sound. It's a minotaur roar,
Oh, yeah, that's Raz.
as you say. And minotaurs are fine warriors.
Yeah.
At
So
that
about
point,
yeah. About this pomegranate.
yeah.
at that point, Raz is just gonna burst through a wall holding a watermelon and just yell at Grintook, "Is this a pomegranate?"
He like pauses for a second and then looks at Shiki. Is that a pomegranate?
No, my good sir, that is a watermelon.
No, it's some other crap, Raz.
Oh, I just toss it
They're
over.
mighty delicious on a warm summer day, I might add.
What? It's delicious. He's gonna go chase after it as it rolls down the street.
So listen, about these pomegranates. So I've got a really good slave I can trade if you guys are in the market.
Slave trading? No. I don't deal with that. Thank you very much.
Oh well, I mean, I also have this tender non-human meat I could sell you.
We are fine for rational supplies.
I'm just
Don't worry
gonna
about
walk up
that.
to him. I'm just gonna walk up to him with a pomegranate. I'm like, this is a pomegranate. I'll take the slave.
His eyes just like go wide with like excitement, and he just like holds out a ring of keys for you.
Thanks. What am I looking for again?
Yeah, he's just up that way, and he just like thumbs behind them in the general direction of where he left the cart.
Amazing. I'm just gonna go back to all the dead bodies and start looting them.
Minotaur, good sir.
You catch it up to him. He's just eating a watermelon, and
The skin and all.
one or
The
two
flesh
bites.
of it too. You're just crunching on on like the shell. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're not supposed to eat the outside part. You split it into slices and devour the internal tissue.
That's too much work.
Oh, just like a rabbit.
Just
Oh, this is like a rabbit.
I wonder, are you in need of employment at this moment?
Hmm. Let me think.
You cast an eye around at the devastation and destruction and chaos. It doesn't seem like there's any semblance of trade going on around here.
I suppose I am.
Well,
Who do you need me to
there's a
kill?
little extra protection, especially under these current circumstances. Would you like to be employed as a bodyguard? Current moment.
Bodyguard.
Yes.
Am I guarding
Your
you?
job is to me and my compatriots. Yes. We'll need
Yes,
some
you are.
safe passes.
You are very small and scrawny.
I
I suppose I
imagine I
can.
would appear so to you,
I'm just
to one
gonna
of
look
such
at
mighty stature.
just gonna look at the
100 gold a month.
Look at the path of destruction he went. Yeah, this is definitely discreet.
100 gold a month.
I believe start negotiating them down a price to like what the average pay of a bodyguard would be.
Meanwhile, Drac, you can see along at the end of the path of destruction a cart, rather flimsy, with 2 cages on it, one lying wide open, and the other this young boy, rather looking worse for wear, just like sitting calmly inside.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
walk down and loot all the bodies along the way until I get to the gate.
Yeah, I just want to add that Fee is calmly sitting in the midst of this chaos, and his eyes are closed, probably contemplating the thing that he was trying to escape this whole way, and still he is here in the cage, and he still survived. That is the way. He should not fight the inevitable. So he's just peacefully sitting there, whether he will be released or not.
I
You're-
think just in the middle of me looting some nearby dead corpse or his gates, I'll just like toss him the key and just keep looting.
Yeah, I mean, most of the quality of the weapons is quite poor. A lot of them aren't really worth hanging on to, apart from the odd blade here and there. But you managed to get enough kind of like golden trinkets off many of them. They would probably like feed you for a week.
Yeah, mostly just like any like rations or whatever is worthwhile. I don't really care about the weapons too much.
While you're negotiating with the Minotaur, Jam, you're sort of just like idling behind, a little nervously perhaps. Naoki was kind of like hanging around behind you, also sort of like nervously waiting to see what happens. And then you just hear like a dudunk of water, and you turn around and the goblin is standing there where Naoki was standing, just at the edge of the water.
Wait, where Naoki was standing, so there's Naoki now in the water.
Well, he's not where the goblin is now standing anyway.
But what did you just do with him?
What, me? And he's like wiping something on his undershirt at the side. Oh, your friend? Oh, he got hit by an arrow or something.
Shiki? She shouts back, not knowing where he is.
Shiki's like deep into negotiations with this Minotaur.
I think she'll jump in after Naoki.
Sure, you turn and run up to the edge of the water. You can see him like floating face down in the water, with the kind of the water turning like red around him.
And first of all, she'll try and drag him to land so that he doesn't just drown.
Sure, you dive into the cold, dark, salty water. Extremely uncomfortable for you. It's the first time you've ever been like submerged like this. You get underneath the arm of his body and pull him over towards the boat where the crewman, or the one that was steering the boat, is still standing there, and he helps pull him into the rowboat. You can clearly see like he's been stabbed in the back,
Bring the boat closer to land again.
Righto, miss. But I don't think he's going to make it. He's lost a lot of blood.
I need to try something.
So you pull him back over to shore. Do you want to haul him back up onto the decking?
Nah, she's just going to touch against the stone wall,
Okay.
and then I'm going to cast Cure Wound on Naoki.
All right.
And it's the same kind of as if fireflies are gathering through the ground into her and then flowing into him.
Sure. Which approach would you like to roll for this? Oh wait, that's not how spells work. How do spells work on this again?
You spend mana.
Right, as a modifier, sure.
I think I'll just put 1 mana into it. So I do not have a lot.
Oh, perfect. Yes, there's a few moments of calmness in the midst of all this that's going on. And the guy standing beside you is just in awe of what's happening as he watches the wound stitch itself back up. And Naoki kind of coughs and spits out some water, then takes a big massive breath to fill his lungs up with air again. What happened?
I think that goblin hit you. And I look up to see if he's still there.
Oh, he's not there anymore.
Did he take something from you?
Take something? My pocket watch. And he starts frantically searching his pockets. It's gone.
Nothing you can't replace.
No, you don't understand. That pocket watch has been in my family for generations. My great-great-grandfather created it. It's priceless.
Well, I don't know where he's gone, but we can try and find him if you want. I wouldn't move, though, if I were you.
Yeah, yes, of course. He climbs the rope ladder back up to the decking.
And she'll follow up after and try and find Shiki to let him know what's happened.
Yeah, I mean, find Shiki, no problem.
Have you seen that goblin again?
Sorry, what goblin?
The goblin that was looking for the pomegranate.
Oh. No, the goblin you're affiliated with. As I talk to the Minotaur.
He would never do that. Would he? Goblins are quite sneaky. But then again, so are humans. He could have just stolen it from himself.
At that moment, the goblin just kind of rounds the corner with a little bag of coins. He's like, "Hey, Raz! So I got enough money for dinner tonight."
Ah, excellent.
How did you acquire such money? Said Goblin.
He looks at Naoki and he's like, "Oh, hey there."
Where did you sell the pocket watch?
The what?
You stole his pocket watch. You sold it for coins. Where did you sell it?
I didn't steal anything. How dare you accuse me of such a thing?
Would he have sold it?
I repeat, where did you sell it? As long as you tell us where you sold it, everything will be okay in the end.
Raz, you going to take that from these guys? They're trying to call me a thief.
You have stolen things before. But then again, these are humans. Humans steal things.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
What do you even need it for?
It doesn't count.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just pick up Grintook by his leg and just start shaking him.
All these coins just kind of rattling out of him. The pomegranate, some numerous daggers, vials of poison and poisonous ingredients.
Poison.
Hey, that's private property.
Poisonous mushrooms.
Those
Yeah.
are good spices.
Yeah, there's just my cooking spices.
Yes,
It's like
anything but a
arsenic,
strong beast.
polonium.
Yeah.
Like very clear labels on them.
One of them's like glowing green, like it's nuclear.
Yeah, anything except a strong, mighty creature like a minotaur would easily die to such poisons.
You'd think so.
I'd exclude a minotaur in the statement.
I don't see this pocket watch, but then again, what does a pocket watch look like?
Just then you see like a pirate kind of like whistling as he's walking by the boarding, twiddling a pocket watch on the end of his finger.
I think it's a round thing like that.
Like that? Hey, you! Give that here!
What?
It's mine now. I'm just gonna start running at him.
I imagine there's a moment where he just like defecates himself before you slam into him. And the pocket watch falls to the ground. There's like the crunch of his ribs.
Shiki runs behind and grabs the pocket watch from the ground.
Hey, Grintook, I got dinner. I just like lift the guy still up stuck to my
He's
horns.
like, but I'm not dead yet.
What? Oh, sorry. I just pick him up and throw him at a house.
See, I told you I didn't steal anything. Now, if you excuse me a moment, and he pulls out his little knife and runs over to the guy and starts like cutting a pound of flesh off him.
That might have been a tad excessive, my minotaur friend. My mighty friend.
But he had something I wanted.
Yes,
Isn't that-
you can negotiate, you can have a discussion to inquire such things.
I like him.
That sounds like a very human thing to do.
In this
Yeah.
moment, imagine. Well, Drax came back, obviously, so imagine Fee's been freed himself and has also kind of wandered down to this conversation.
Well, I imagine Freeze holding the keys, but still deciding is he gonna exit or not. It's been such a long time he's been in that cage, going through many things, and yeah, at the end he exits barely standing because he's still very weak and
Is the-
approaching the crowd.
Is the irony that you could have just probably convinced the Minotaur to let you out?
Oh yes, definitely.
Americans don't understand an irony. Yeah, you come out, you see the goblin over there like hacking away at a guy. You can see the Minotaur standing there talking to these other people. Something, can't quite put your finger on it, but there's something about the guy that threw you the keys. About the way, you know, when he yelled when he said it. It just strikes you as being familiar somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, his build, physical appearance, something about him is telling me that I've seen something like this, something similar. I cannot be mistaken, but I can't also pinpoint who he would be.
You hear a huge horn sound ring out across the city. Dun, 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 dun. Fighting sort of audibly, visibly subdues. But you can hear like the clatter of armor and weapons in the distance somewhere.
This would be the time I think we should leave, my friends.
Yeah, I think that's the guards coming to break up the brawl. Fun's over.
My fun's over with for today.
He says, pockets bulging.
Didn't you say there'd be another building for your clan here? Or was to adopt now here of it?
Oh, not in this city, no.
Oh, I was thinking
But-
you were going to look over to the side of the city that was on fire and be like, oh,
It's like I look over the side of the city on fire. It's like our affiliate was on that side of the city. That's who I was going to drop Naoki off, and they would have escorted him to the nearest clan base. Guess you'll be joining us for a little longer, Naoki. I do apologise.
oh, that's okay, your lordship.
At least they're on land now.
He walks over and like picks the pocket watch off the boarding. And it's a little cracked because obviously when that guy dropped it.
I returned the pocket watch to him, so I picked it up.
The goblin also comes back up to Raz. His hands covered in blood. He's like wiping it off in his shirt. It's like, yeah, well, this one would be nice and fresh, Raz. If you wanted to get away and make dinner somewhere.
Oh, we got hired, Grintook.
What?
We got a job.
Yes. He'll be our
He's-
bodyguard for the next month or so.
With these humies?
Yep, they're paying us.
Well, I suppose.
Now that does mean, Grintok, no stealing from any member of the party.
I told you I didn't steal anything.
Yes, yes. No acquiring things from unconscious or incapacitated or possibly deceased members of the party.
He starts like wrapping up the flesh in a bit of paper he's got. It's like, yeah, sure, I wouldn't do anything like that.
That includes the meat.
Yeah, me either. I totally wouldn't do that.
Excellent. It's been written in the contract. I'll be writing it up. Have you signed it? But as soon as we get to a safe place.
I could have sworn the professor said both of good.
Contract. Are we going to?
A minotaur is a minotaur is a large, intimidating creature that they are very. They'll alleviate a lot of troubles in the next short while.
My tribe.
That's
has
why
wandered
it was a
these-
short-term contract of up to a month.
Yes, my tribe has wandered these lands for thousands of years, since long before anyone can remember. I know this place like the back of my hand and can guide you wherever it is you're going.
Yeah, don't worry about Raz. Nothing's going to kill him. Yet.
Yet.
Goblins, it sounds kind of defeated.
Oh, he's got a pomegranate. He's like anxious to try this one out.
And then
I do
Fee
worry about
just-
your choice of companion, Sir Raz.
Oh, you go, Fee.
well, Fee, at sometimes, he just pulls up next to a goblin, his hand around the goblin's shoulder. Hey there, goblin.
Oh, hey there, buddy. You got out of your cage, I see.
Yes, I was lucky, in a way. Not like my compatriot from the cage.
Well, it all worked out, didn't it? You're safe and sound. Just as planned.
Yes, and I see you have those pomegranates, huh?
Oh, yeah. We'll be having one for dinner.
Very good, very good. Well, I'm anxious
oh.
to see how it's gonna work.
Are you going to make it into a pie, are you? We served that to the last Minotaur we worked with, Minotaur tribe we worked with. They most enjoyed pomegranate pie.
What? Well, maybe, I guess. A little meat pie.
I hope you enjoy whatever your goblin chef serves you, Sir Raz.
If there's enough, I'll make sure he makes some for everyone.
I think we'll deal with our own food. Thank you very much. Thank you for the offer, though.
Maybe next time then.
Yes.
Okay, so use are you going to be going along with these people, Fee? Like,
Well, yes, I would like to approach Drak, and I just want to ask you, how did you get the keys from the goblin?
I gave him a pomegranate.
Oh, yes, now I see. And Fee goes on his knees in front of you, lowers his forehead down to the ground. Thank you. Now, do you consider me as your slave, or am I free?
Well, if I wanted you as a slave, I don't think I would have gave you the key.
Hmm. Thank you very much. And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what would Fee do, because he's barely walking by himself. So, would you mind if I tag along for a while until my wounds heal?
Yeah, why not? We're picking up all the strays today.
You're so very kind. It's been a long time since I've seen such a benevolent act. Thank you very much. May I ask for your name?
Like, look at all the bodies I looted. Yeah, benevolent. Name's Dragon.
And then in that moment, the name, I can remember the name. And I have some flashbacks. I look at you strangely, but I don't utter a word. Oh, Drakan. My name is Fee.
Well, nice to meet you.
Yes. Nice to meet you. Thank you for taking me and freeing me. I will try not to be a nuisance.
That's the spirit.
the goblin
Yes.
walks by the two of you and just like slaps you in the side and says, "Right, come on, get a room, you two."
Hey, Goblin. It looks I'm free. We're gonna travel together.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that works out.
I'm looking forward to trying your pomegranate pie.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
so-
don't worry, I got some special spices for it too. And he like pads his pocket, and then pats his pocket, and then he looks over at the
I
pile
pat
of
my pocket too.
He looks, yeah. He looks over where all the poisons, everything fell out, and he's like, where the hell's my arsenic?"
I've picked up all the poison and stuff. Like, yeah, he shouldn't be needing this anymore.
No, Drax got like a pocket full of poisons.
Yeah, I do have a pocket full of poisons.
Everyone's stolen all the goblin poisons.
Alright, so yeah, so use Arcanic Gale now and use escape the scene of the Mina city. I assume you like get a carriage or something like that, so you can like head off to wherever you're headed to next, which should
Well,
be
I still have a carriage. We could take that if they're okay. If
you
they're
have
all
a again in the cages.
I don't
I
even
think
care.
we need to
I
remove
ride
the
on top of
cages
them.
from this one.
I'm sure it'll be within some sort of transport to get you out there, but that'll be the first session of how everyone meets.
I can't tell if this group is more like ragtag than usual.
You can't tell.
I can't tell.
We've got a minotaur and a goblin trying to kill him. A young noble with his servant.
Young noble whose servant is basically being tortured by him without his knowledge.
A ninja and a freed slave and a dryad who's never been to the mortal world.
Confused
I feel like-
dryad.
I feel like half this
Stop.
party is at least sane, and the other half is just crazy.
The question is which ones are sane.
Oh, I know which ones.
Obviously, Resler is the most sane.
I actually don't think there's a single sane member of the party. Maybe the dryad's like the most sane because it's just like, what the hell is going on here?
Is this what mortals do when they assemble heroes?
Yeah, I think just the confusing part is the professor said that it was for the force of good to collect the tablets.
Completely.
And then we arrived at this town and it's like, aha.
Yeah, you're like, is this what passes is for good here? Oh my god, we're really in trouble.
Are you just looking around at all the minotaur-shaped holes in buildings?
And I won the Dryad that there was not going to be a straightforward, easy path.
But I mean, Naoki and Shiki haven't done anything bad yet, I think.
Well, I mean, if you think hiring a Minotaur who's rampaging through a town is not bad,
Like, he's setting him back on the right track.
yes, we can go with that.
I did tell the Minotaur that he's throwing the human was excessive.
Excessive, but not not illegal or not allowed or whatever.
I'm diplomatic in my language.
Like, he hasn't done anything wrong, but, you know, the less legitimate.
The only thing I'm doing is picking up strays. I gotta be a nice person.
Well,
but
he
you-
caused the search for pomegranate.
I was
You
going
don't
to say,
admit in front of the Dryad that you traded fee for a pomegranate.
I was going to say for Drac, it's just a case of like fortifying the meat shield.
Essentially, I'm just like, all these people will help me when I need to run away.
Yes, minotaurs have very big shadows you can run through.
But yeah, that's us meeting our characters and starting our adventure.
I can't wait.
Ah, yeah, it's gonna be great. We're gonna wage a path of destruction through this land.
Anyone have any questions or anything like that before we go?
All good.
Just XP?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
We're having a no level up campaign.
I'd be fine with that if mana wasn't attached to level.
Yes.
Level up, okay. Okay, so everyone gets 1 XP. Did anyone fulfill the drive?
I ate a watermelon.
I discovered clues to Conjuration Tablet. Started quite.
I think talking to the professor might be like making a connection.
What's your drive?
You made a connection with
It's-
Shiki.
It's to hopefully eventually like gain power to restore balance to the Feywild.
yeah, that's definitely a connection, yeah. In context of what you need them.
Does freeing a slave count as redemption?
Oh, it's definitely
It's
part of your
weird.
redemption. I mean, it's up to you if it's large enough part to constitute getting XP or not.
Just weigh it up against all the people you've helped.
Killed, you know, whatever.
Well, you had a guy kneeling before you, thanking for his life.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it.
We take those.
I'll take those wins.
Party okay, notable enemy or task. I'm going to say no. Learn something new about one of their characters or the world.
Oh, we learned about everybody.
So
We all met each other.
yeah, I think everyone can get an XP for that one. And then if someone wants to nominate someone for something awesome.
I did like the impaling the guy on your horns.
I was gonna say the slingshot with the suit. And the
Yeah,
gun.
that
I was going to say the slingshot with the sling with the goblin throwing on a sling. It's just
XP
Can
for
we
that.
can we nominate
Yeah.
you, Dark, for this the entire goblin?
I'll take that.
oh yes,
sure.
the entire goblin and also Naoki, the two of them were just the two sub characters like stole the show.
And cutting the sails. That was cool.
Oh yeah, I was
That
gonna.
was
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Drakan cutting the sails.
Oh yeah,
Cool.
disabling a whole pirate ship by himself. Yeah,
Yeah.
one for Drac.
Don't,
Not
don't
even
even know what
taking
you're
credit
talking
for it.
about. Well, no, then everybody would know I was a ninja. That's kind of like the opposite of what I want.
Yeah, but this is out of character.
Yeah, no, I mean, I
Yeah.
didn't take credit for it in the game. That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
yeah.
Like, I didn't take credit
Yeah,
for
but
it.
that's
then
what's
when
even
people
more
know.
awesome. It's like you did it without anybody knowing.
I'm gonna be like an old feeble man this whole campaign. Every time we have to do something in front of people, I'm gonna struggle to like climb a tree. Shit.
Jam
be
healed
awesome,
that
that.
one guy, but did how? Yeah, Jam healed that one guy, but was that?
Yeah, she technically saved Melky's life.
Oh yeah, I guess he was basically dead, wasn't he?
He was going to die.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
Jack's like, yeah, I'm gonna kill him off, and then he's like, no, I'm gonna save him, heal him.
Like she
Yeah,
was
that's
talking
kinda
to him
awesome.
on the boat, so I don't think that's awesome. That's just
You saved my servant's life.
Yeah, we are here playing heroes, saving innocent
You're
lives
the
is
only
always
person
awesome.
who did anything heroic.
Yeah, that alone.
nah. Drakan was heroic. Like he saved us from the pirates, and he saved Fee from enslavement.
Yeah, but yeah, heroic, you have to do it publicly. He didn't do it publicly.
Well, I mean, stopping the pirates was also self-preservation. I suppose freeing
Exactly.
Fee was heroic. Okay, yeah, so there's your XP for today. Yeah, so if there's nothing else, guys, there'll be next week, same time.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, sounds good.
Sure. See you next week.